to that. Now, also producing the program, Go Tigers 247 writer Bryant Dacus. Bryant, hello.
Happy Friday, gentlemen.
Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you. It's a weird Friday, though.
Here
There's
we go.
no question about it. First hour of the show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Plenty to get to today.
I went Tony Romo, didn't I?
Yeah, we're
Here we
gonna,
go.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk some NFL. We have the divisional round coming up. We're gonna talk some college basketball. Tigers lost. Cincy beats Tulsa last night, 90-69.
We're going to break down the American Express out in La Quinta.
yeah. Let's do it. Indiana upsets Purdue last night. We're gonna get to that. Grizzlies are in action tonight in Denver versus the Nuggets. They're slight favorites. We have all that to get to. As far as our guests are concerned, Alan Bell, 3:30, Bruce Marshall, 4:30. Bring on Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas to talk SEC and the Tigers. 5 o'clock, Jason Munz joins us from the CA for Tiger basketball. And 5:30, we have our NFL playoff picks before we get out at 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. We have a lot to get to. So, AutoZone listener line open, 901-360-8255. Looking for texts, questions, comments, concerns on everything. Watch us live also and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. So, Tigers lose last night. To SMU 70-62. Tigers dropped to 9-8. And we could break down the game, but I think there are more important things to discuss. Penny Hardaway, after the game, I'm sure most of our listeners, most of you have heard it at this point, but here is what Penny Hardaway had to say after the game.
I think the one thing I can say to this media, because this media gets kind of up sometimes when it comes to me, we don't have our full roster. Y'all know we don't have our full roster. Stop asking me stupid questions about if I feel like I can do something. If I had my roster like they did, then I feel like I can do whatever I want to do. I'm coaching really hard. My boys are playing really hard. I'm not embarrassed about nothing. We have 4 freshmen starting. Y'all need to act like it. Act like we got 17, 18, and 19-year-olds out here trying to learn how to play against 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys. Come on, man. Stop disrespecting me, bro. Like, don't do that. I work too hard. I work way too hard for that. Y'all write all these bullshit articles about me, and all I do is work. We got young kids on the floor. They got young kids on the floor.
Now, this was in response to, and this is not paraphrasing. I had to make sure I got both of these questions correct and word for word. This was in response to a question, have you ever lost faith that you can get this done? Followed by a, is it embarrassing? Now, Brett, just hearing that response last night, it's jarring. It's very sort of, it shines a light on where Penny Hardaway is right this second.
It does, Gabe, and it's really a sad day and a sad chapter for someone that I'm one of the very few. I could count them up and go over the names, but I think it's about 4 or 5 of us that had the pleasure, the privilege of being around in the media when he played, and it was something to see. It was something to see every night. And now as he is coaching. Now, last year, because of the pandemic, I was not around as much. Same thing for this year because I was very guarded during most of the football season. But I've been around. I followed every jot and tittle of his career all the way through from Trez Van Oom. And I've never seen a display from him like that last night. I think it is the outlier. It is, I hope, a one-off. I'm surprised we have already not seen some type of statement today from him. I am more shocked we have not seen a statement today from his bosses, Laird Veets, the director of athletics, and from the university president. I don't know if the new president has fully taken over or is Dr. Rudd still in a transition phase or not. I don't
think
know.
There's still a transition phase going on right now.
But it's particularly no statement from Dr. Rudd, who is a serial tweeter and is one of the champions of being at the front of the picture when the team picture is going well. When it's not going well, he goes really quiet and really dark on Twitter concerning athletics. It's just, I run the university then. I find that ironic with his leadership. And Laird, you know, we just don't get a whole lot out of him, and we've got nothing so far today. I can't believe it'll go a full 24 hours without some statement from them.
There needs to be an apology from Penny Hardaway himself. There needs to be something that comes out because you don't conduct yourself that way in interviews. Now, Brett, you know I have a lot to say about this. I have to start. There's no way you can excuse Penny Hardaway in any way, shape, or form. That was an awful response. It was about as bad as it gets. I guess I'll start with the excuse he made. Young excuse, talking about 17, 18-year-olds going against 23, 24-year-olds, talking about the injured excuse. It kind of falls on deaf ears. You're 9-8. You're 7th in the AAC. And you look at the top of the AAC, and Kelvin Sampson, number 10 with Houston. And 2 of their leading scorers, top 5 leading scorers, are out for the year. Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark. Also, I look at what he said last night as him trying to protect himself. Remember, Penny, you represent more than yourself. You represent that school. You represent your players. You represent that athletic department. You represent the higher ups. Right now. You represent the higher ups at the university and academia. You represent everything about the school. So the way he sort of broke that down was a protection of himself, and I think he needs to think a little deeper about who he's representing. Also, remember the media. Remember the media. For better or worse, controls narratives. They're going to control that. He is going to be painted by a lot of people around town as a train that's been derailed. Someone who is starting the slow decline, the fall from grace in the city of Memphis. That's what he's going to become now because of that one response that he had to the really bad question, in my opinion. And for better or worse, the media is going to control everything that is said and talked about around you and that program. And you have to remember, too, if you're Penny Hardaway, when you hear a guy prodding you like that, he wants a quote. He wants a quote. That's what he wants, Brett. I've had it happen to me in the past where people try to portray their feelings onto me, whether it's in an interview while I was in school, after I was in school. I'll talk about it here more in a second. But people try to portray their feelings and their thoughts onto you, and I don't think that you need to feed into that. You cannot.
It was a classic passive-aggressive move, and done with all the virtue signaling, with the muffled voice, with the mask on, post-game when they're not required. They're not required by anybody at FedEx Forum. They're so unrequired that person that asked that question, Jeff Calkins, sat by me 10 days ago at the Golden State Grizzlies game in the overflow media section. The one kind of up top at FedEx Forum, not courtside.
Yep.
Not courtside where somebody might see him in a passing TV shot or see him sitting courtside. And he sat by me for over 3 hours without a mask on. In fact, I told the story the next day on these airwaves out of respect for him, sincerely, out of respect for him. I asked him, I said, I have my mask. Would you like for me to put it on out of deference and respect for you? I am double vaccinated. I am boosted. He said, oh, no, you don't need to do that. No. He sits there all night by me. So the virtue signaling from him has been inauthentic for a long time. And the passive aggressive move last night, kind of muffled, restrained with the mask on, like he really didn't want to ask it when he was asking just for what is ensued.
It made me sick, to be honest. And again,
it makes me ill.
Before I get into the line of questioning, which was awful, embarrassing, garbage. It was terrible. I will also say what Penny Hardaway said is not excusable, inexcusable.
We can be more clear than that.
You cannot excuse what he said.
He took the bait.
He took
and
the
it's
bait.
Been building for a while.
He took the bait, and he gave
where it started.
Exactly what he wanted. But
where it started. It started with Penny being blatantly busted out over being a patent liar about team vaccination rates and thus the cancellation of the Tennessee game. And that's what inspired Jeff. It hadn't been the losing on the court. It hadn't been the rough and tumble years. It hadn't been not making the NCAA. He worships at the altar of Dr. Fauci and the disease and the pandemic, and that was crossing the Rubicon with him.
That was certainly an issue with him, and I completely agree with your sentiment there. There was a line crossed in his head, and now there was a
and we're going to get you.
With those questions yesterday, I certainly believe that he was trying to get a rise out of Penny Hardaway. Because let's go to the questions. Have you ever lost faith that you can get this done? Followed by, is it embarrassing? Anybody who has been to pressers, anybody in the media knows cardinal sin to ask yes or no questions. Cardinal sin. And on top of that, have you ever lost faith that you can get this done? That is a closed-ended.
And you don't have to go to Columbia J School to learn that.
That's a closed-ended. That is a closed-ended yes or no question. What is he going to say? No, I don't have faith in myself anymore. You close him into saying, absolutely, yes, I believe. Why does he have to answer that? Of course, he wouldn't have taken the job if he didn't have faith that he can get this done. Also, is it embarrassing? Is it embarrassing? Penny Hardaway works 365 days out of the year. Is he doing the right work? I don't know. Behind the scenes,
paid handsomely for it.
They're 9-8 and not very good. Is he doing the right work? I don't know, but he works 365 days out of the year trying to make the right moves for his players.
I do think he has worked hard.
And more importantly, with the embarrassed question, if he's embarrassed, let him say that. Do not coerce him into a feeling that you feel like he should possess.
Should that word been replaced by disappointed instead
that
of
would be more
embarrassed?
fair. That would be more fair. I still think the first question, have you lost faith that you can get this done, is just patently dumb.
It's walking you right into it. It's leading the witness, and it's setting up that powwow. It's setting up that butting of heads, and he's been doing it, and he's been doing it for a long time, trying to establish himself as Mr. Memphis, and have a flock of followers, readers, listeners, that most of them have the Coexist bumper sticker on their car or the Memphis is Midtown bumper sticker on their car.
The implication with the questions he asks is that Penny should have lost faith and Penny should be embarrassed by what's going on. Those are the implications. And I've dealt with it as a player, even after my play. It is a full-on turnoff. It's frustrating. The questions that are framed for questions that are framed for you. Questions that are framed for you to answer a certain way. They want you to give them a quote that they want.
What if Penny Hardaway on the dime had flipped that around and said, "Are you embarrassed for sabotaging Scott Drew getting this job here?"
Jeff would be frustrated. And how passive aggressive? Oh, is it embarrassing? You should be embarrassed. Is it embarrassing to you? That is so passive aggressive.
Were you embarrassed when you wrote a column years ago, long before Coach Billy Murphy's most recent announcement about getting into the College Football Hall of Fame, about Coach Murphy when he was still alive, in the column writing about him being deceased, that hurt his family very much?
And how about when I was in college, Paxton Lynch was the only thing holding up Memphis football. Once he left, it was going to go back to crap.
Yeah.
So I don't forget. People don't forget.
No, we don't.
And I'll tell you this, from questions, and not even just Jeff, from questions when I won't name names. I've had the give me a quote guy talk to me in the past. That's frustrating. Give me a quote. Give you a quote. Ask a question.
Right.
Make me answer it.
Do your job.
Do your damn job. Also, after a big loss, how do you feel? Is this disappointing? Are you Of course I'm disappointed. We just lost a big game. And this happened to me and several guys after the 2017 AAC championship game versus UCF. Trying to put feelings onto me, asking questions that don't make any type of sense. And I'm telling you, just from experience and being in these in locker rooms, dealing with these things, guys in locker rooms discuss how annoying those questions can be.
But, Gabe, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny to see the coup plotters kind of turning on each other? Mm-hmm. Once the cabal was all together, and now they're not quite as much. I know we're going to get into some NFL talk. We'll do it at 3:30 with Alan Bell. We'll have a lot of NFL talk today. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, the NFL playoffs in full gear, and everyone can get in on the action with a risk-free bet at FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or you already have an account. All customers get up to $10 back if your same-game parlay bet doesn't win. Same-game parlays let you combine multiple bets from one big matchup for a big, big payout. Here's what I like tomorrow in the Bengals Titans. We'll break that down with Alan Bell, but here's what I like. Joe Burrow over passing yards. Jamar Chase over number of receptions, and a Joe Mixon anytime touchdown. Number one sports book in the country. Easy to use, easy to place your bet, and when you win, you get your pay out fast in as little as 2 hours. If you already have an account, just place your risk-free same-game parlay on any divisional round game to qualify. New customers can join today with promo code CASH to get your risk-free bet. Plus, if it's your first time betting with FanDuel, you can enjoy 30-1 odds on any team in the divisional round to win after using promo code CASH. You can turn a $5 bet into $150. That's promo code CASH on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit. That expires in 7 days. Max bonus, $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show proudly brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They are at 2600 Ridgeway, and they are online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2022 models and special lease options. Call them at 901-362-8833. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
So, Brett, my top story and my not top story will both be about Tiger basketball. Just to
Guess
sort of
what?
preface.
Me too.
Top story has to do with what Penny said after the game. To the ridiculous questions, have you lost faith that you can get this done, followed by is it embarrassing? 2 close-ended yes or no questions. I just thought that was patently terrible. It was an awful response. He used excuses that I don't think anyone wants to hear at this point. And here's the one problem I have, the biggest problem I have with Penny's response, is you blame the media for everything. You're blaming the media. Oh, you guys treat me unfairly. I know so many people over the past 4 years who have held their tongue on so many things, Penny. So many people have held
Like
their
stand
tongues.
count all year. I've had it every game, and I've never mentioned
People
it.
have tried to be quiet and let you learn this whole time, but I'm telling you right now, with what you did, you lost time for yourself. You made the media turn on you with those comments. You can't blame the media for what has happened. I understand that some guys are injured, but you have other teams in this conference, namely Houston, the best team in conference, with injuries as well. So it falls on deaf ears in a lot of ways. But then again, it was an awful line of questioning last night. Just terrible. Lost faith. What do you want him to say? What do you want him to say?
Yeah,
you want him to say,
push it
yeah,
to the
I
corner.
lost faith? Is it embarrassing? You want him to say, oh, I'm completely embarrassed?
He
It's
pushed
not
me
like
corner. He came out fighting, and now we have what we have.
It was just awful. And if he is going to be embarrassed, if he is going to have a feeling attached to what happened on that floor, let him have that feeling. Let him tell you how he feels. Ask him how he feels.
And let me read to you some of the stories that I had sent to me last night by a noted college basketball writer from Jeff. Quote, this is a real-life fantasy playing out. Quote, Penny Hardaway reminds me of what Tigers basketball can be.
Uh-huh.
That's just some of the stuff leading up to this year. But the line got crossed over the vaccination. That's what sent him over the top. You ready for my top?
Yeah, you go ahead.
My top story, this is all very sad. We're at this point again with Tigers basketball. And what it proves to me, and I don't like having to admit this, John Calipari has been that impossible to replace. It's now been 13 years without him. 3 coaches, that's a big sample size. That's a generation. 1 basketball savant, young man in a hurry, and Josh Pastner. Didn't work. Veteran coach that had won at a lot of places, had won it all at a place. Didn't work. And then the savior of saviors that hadn't saved it and won't save it. Hadn't worked.
Not top story of the day.
That's where I'm going with that. So much hope going into the Penny Hardaway era. 2 number 1 recruiting classes. But the play on the floor just didn't match. It hasn't matched. And it's boiled over to this point, and now you see where it's turning on him and falling in on him. Last night, I don't know what to say. It was just bad basketball, bad brand of basketball, losing to SMU 70-62. And SMU was not a good team last night.
They're awful.
Didn't play well. Tigers were 1 from 12.
I don't care if they're 35 years
Amani
old.
Bates, who is supposed to be one of the saviors coming into this year, is struggling, and it looks like he's in deep water, and no one's trying to throw him a life vest. That's what it looks like to me.
I'm truly worried about him.
Me too.
We texted last night. I'm worried about his well-being. A wellness check, real friends, real support system around him, because a lot's been asked of him. It almost begs both 17-18. We're hearing that. 17-18-19. We're hearing verses 22, 23, 24. Do we need age limits and minimums around sports, college sports? Is 17 too young to be playing with the big boys?
Yes.
Is 23 too old to be playing with the little boys?
I personally think, again, and I'll always say this, if you're 17, if you want to reclassify, case-to-case basis, but Amani Bates, he looks overwhelmed, and I feel bad for the guy because we know what he struggled with in the past. He looks just very uncomfortable. Tyler Harris continues to be sort of a breath of fresh air. He's the only guy out there that I feel like every night's going to produce something. Kendrick Davis snapped in the second half from SMU, 15 points in the second half, only 5 in the first. And overall, though, it's just sad what's happening with Penny. He is becoming unhinged. The season feels completely lost. Tigers sit at a net of 71, which is not even that crazy far. It's not that bad, considering what has happened.
Make
next
it 73.
Next 73? 73?
Yeah.
Okay. It was 71 last night when I checked. But next 3, Sunday at Tulsa, Thursday versus ECU, and the Thursday following at Cincinnati. And I am curious what the scan count will be for the rest of the year. I'm curious how this team feels.
And that matters
about going forward.
Budget-wise, the scan count. That's what they get paid off of by the Grizzlies.
I'm just curious how this team feels going forward. But what Penny said last night lost him some time in the grand scheme of things if he wants to turn it around.
Sure did. That's basically my not top story. The young stuff, the whole sport is in a state of flux. The whole sport is either very young, dealing with COVID, somebody in the portal, player discontent. You can't sell people on, hey, come here, play a year, and I get you to the NBA. Then when they get here, too young. I mean, I'm playing grown men. I looked today at NBA Draft Net. I just looked at it because that was a reference point. One of those young guys he refers to, Jalen Duren, 12th pick in the draft, according to NBA Draft Net.
Yep.
Another really young guy, Kennedy Chandler, who he didn't recruit, 26th.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of, you're at a loss for words at this point, especially with what was said last night. That's our top and not top story of the day. I want to make it clear, though. We've done a job this year of holding Penny Hardaway accountable to what he said he was going to do, all the smoke, right? Talking about his first year on campus.
Most damaging 3 words he's ever uttered as head coach.
So bad.
All the smoke.
So bad
will
looking back at
stay with him and them forever.
And talking about Earl Timberlake being the best two-way player in the country. Just all of the hype. It didn't live up to it.
I'm going to teach Amani Bates how to play point guard.
Last night's performance, what all transpired in that press room, yes, hold Penny Hardaway accountable, but I think a guy that's been in the media, a guy who's been a columnist for 2 separate papers for 20-plus years in this city, he knows better. He knew what he was doing. Got to hold him accountable, too. And that's about as easy as I can put it. And I hope people out there understand where I'm coming from with that message. When we come back on the other side, we're going to switch gears. We will get back to your Tiger text, 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone listener line. We'll get back to them at the bottom of the hour. We're going to switch gears when we come back. We talk NFL and wagering with CBS Sports Lines. Alan Bell, next on Sports 56, 98.5.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Tire pressure light on? Tread low? Car sliding when you stop? It's time to go down to Milton on the Spot. Serving you at 3 locations: 1684 Getwell Road, 2127 Ellis Presley, and 3691 North Watkins. Memphis' largest supply of new and used tires, all under warranty. Yes, that's warranty on used tires too. Ask about the tire rotation and balance specials. Milton on the Spot on Getwell Road, Elvis Presley, or North Watkins. Here to take care of your every tire need. Milton on the Spot.
Hey, Jeff Allen, it's a new year, and that means time to make your customers happy in 2022 at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Happy is easy to do with our great savings. I've got a take your pick that will knock your socks off. How about a 2022 Kia Forte LXS or a 2022 Kia Sportage? Your choice, $199 per month.
Forte's $27.99 due at signing, and Sportage is $34.99 due at signing. Plus, all Gossett Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
Plus, a 2022 Kia Sorento $359, only $34.99 due at signing, and all 36-month leases. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sportage N702 7277, MSRP 25460, Forte 8044 2833, MSRP 21980, Sorento NGO 990119, MSRP 35340. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 plus finance through KMF. Excludes tax filing and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/3/2022. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Back rolling on Sports Time. Gabe and Stats. Brian Dacus in the producer's chair. 901-360-8255. AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Send in any games you want us to talk to Alan Bell or Bruce Marshall about, and we will discuss them. Also, hit us up. Watch us live. Message us on our socials. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Let's bring on our good friend Alan Bell from CBS Sportsline at AlanBell247 on Twitter. Alan, how's it going, man?
What's up, brother? You doing all right?
Yeah, I can't complain. Man, Alan, before we even get into games, I appreciate your Twitter because you are an O-line savant. You really are. And you're you're the guy who gets mad when they call holding and it wasn't a hold. And I am, as an O-lineman, as a former sort of trench guy, I have a full appreciation of that.
Dude, I'm with you, man. It drives me crazy because, first off, like, it's so difficult of a position to play, whether you're a tackle, guard, center, you name it, right? Like, it's so difficult to play. And then when you get just hammered with holding penalties, like
unfair ones,
that's what I'm saying. Like, when you make a good play and they call holding, it's not only just brutal. But holding is such a devastating penalty to an offense.
Yep.
Like taking you back 10 yards, it almost
So lost it
always
down,
kills.
essentially.
Yeah, it kills drives. It absolutely does. It's so devastating. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And I think this weekend's games, Allen, will be won by the teams that defend their quarterback. The cleanest jersey quarterback's the winner this weekend.
Probably so. I think you're exactly right on that, my man.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the one that really interests me. How much when we talk about Tom Brady, and we've talked about this on the show in the past. We know how good he is in playoff time. We know when he sees a team early in the year that he lost to, he's going to come back the second time and he's going to have his he's going to cross his T's and dot his I's. I understand that. But with that Rams defense, with Aaron Donald in the middle, we know if you press the pocket and get pressure up the middle against Tom Brady, it's a struggle.
Right in his face.
How much of that are you taking into account for this Rams and Bucs game?
Well, I'm taking a lot into account because the Rams are going to win this game outright, and that's exactly why.
Whoa.
Right? Yep, I'm telling you, the Rams are going to win this game because it's funny that you brought that up because they're going to neutralize both lines. Okay, and I'll tell you why. First, exactly what you just said. The Rams front, that 3-4. They are going to get after it, especially with the nose tackle. And you look at the Bucs, center and their starting right tackle. I think Jensen, their center, is going to play. I think he'll be all right. I'm not so sure about the right tackle, but we haven't seen Brady with pressure literally since the Saints game.
Yep.
And the Rams are good enough to do it without having to bring extra personnel back there. So I think that they're going to own the Buccaneers offensive line. Now let's flip it to the other side, all right? The Buccaneers defensive line, all right? The Buccaneers defense as a whole, they blitz 38% of the time, second highest in the NFL. Here's the problem. Matthew Stafford against the blitz is lethal. 17 touchdown passes, 1 interception. His other 16 interceptions are when he's not blitzed. So the Bucs will have to make a decision. If they start blitzing and he starts carving them up and then they have to call the dogs off, that completely changes their defense as well. So the Rams, I believe, are going to neutralize both lines, control them, and then you look at it, the Rams have a much better overall team. So, yeah, Rams are going to win this game.
I love it. What's your favorite player prop out there over all 4 games in the NFL this weekend?
Tom Brady to throw an interception. Like Tom Brady.
We didn't plan this, did we?
No, not at all. Now, look, there's a couple of them out there, right? So Brady, I already took Brady over half an interception, minus 110, for everything we just laid out. Number 2, the Tennessee Titans. You look at wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akine, right? So everybody's going to be focused on Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones in terms of the Titans side. Our man Nick Westbrook, all right, over 28.5 receiving yards. He has become their third down, go find the sticks, get the first down, essentially be a tight end at a wide receiver.
Right.
And he's hit that number 5 of his last 7 games. So I'm going to play him over that. Last one, Joe Burrow, over 35.5 attempts. I think he's going to put the ball in the air a lot tomorrow.
What's your feel being in Nashville, seeing some of the reports? What's your feel on what we'll see from Derrick Henry? They say he's going to start. Do you think he'll get a full load of carries, or do you think it'll be sort of cut down? He'll be on a snap count.
Yeah, I think that, there's definitely going to be somewhat of a snap count. I mean, they're going to get a look at him early, just to see how he's responding. His foot, to be completely honest with you, is going to be fine. Like, I don't see any issues there. What I do see an issue with is going to be his cardio, right? Like,
Yep.
or is he going to be good to go? He's going to need spells. Now, the good thing is they don't use him really on third down anyway. So, you're looking at maybe first down run, second down run. He could get a breather, those types of things. So he's definitely going to be at a snap count. If you look at his carries, books have him around 17.5 over under. Rushing yards, they got him about 79.5 over under.
Right.
You just don't know what you're going to get, right? But I think the biggest concern would probably just be game feel cardio, in regards to his shape.
Alan, one thing about when they take him out on third down for rest, then he's just such a great in the blitz pickup that will leave Ryan Tannehill even more exposed. One story making its rounds, I saw it today on a national news show about the ticket the reselling market in Nashville, that the Titans are changing their policy on it to a 24-hour policy because they're trying to limit Cincinnati 4 hours away rushing in there and buying up a bunch of tickets. What can you tell our audience about it? Because here's my thoughts on Alan before you answer that. it bugs everybody to see a lot of opposing fans in their stadium, but that's well within somebody's right to sell that ticket to them and for them to buy it. Alan, nothing drives me crazier than when I go to a basketball game at Ole Miss and we spend $150 million on a new arena, and it's mostly Tiger fans there, mostly Tennessee Vol fans there. But they can.
Yeah, they can. You're right. What the Titans have done is actually pretty creative here. So what they're doing is they're essentially saying, okay, on this market here, you're not going to get your tickets in hand on your mobile phone until 24 hours before the game, which, okay, all right, no problem whatsoever. But if you're coming from Cincinnati, like, you have to plan everything else. You have to get a hotel room. You have to book your travel. You have to do all these things. And are you going to do it not really with, the confidence that your tickets are in hand just yet, right? So they're kind of banking on that, saying, well, maybe some people won't do it.
They're kind of the key to the weekend.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, like, it's a brilliant move. Like, there's only so much that you can do, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more teams, kind of exercise this thing. So, yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. They're saying, all right, hey, good luck with it. We're not stopping you. It's not like we've got handguns out in front that you can't get in, right? But, yeah, pretty smart move by them.
Bengals, Titans. Give us the winner. Titans 3.5-point favorite. Who wins?
Yeah, look, I'm going to take the Titans here, and I'll take them with the number. I'd much rather have 3 than 3.5, but I think the Titans are an overall better team. And, we'd have to go into the stats of, like, Mike Vrabel off of a bye and all those types of things. Like, I think that this team is a professional football team in the sense of they understand, they've been here before, they know what it means, to play in the playoffs and to be ready and do it, right? And now they get to do it at home. So, I think that they get the job done. It might not be the prettiest of games this weekend, but the Titans defense is good enough to make the Bengals at least a little more one-dimensional than they want to be. And, yeah, that could pose some problems for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but shout out Joe Burrow. Shout out Joe Burrow. And winning a playoff game in Cincinnati, first time since 1990. He's already almost legendary.
He is.
Cincinnati.
And, let me say this. Yeah, let me say this. I am absolutely with you. Like, this kid is unbelievable. And, like, what we saw at LSU, to where he just makes people believe, like, he's doing the same thing in Cincinnati. And that's scary. Because a guy like him, like, if he shows up and he's on fire and Jamar Chase, they're on the same boat, same thing with T. Higgins, dude, good luck. Like, he'll put anybody in the league out of the playoffs. Like, he's that good.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, he normalized Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, that's right.
He did. He really did.
And he made everybody thinks Joe Brady is God's gift to football now because of what Joe Burrow did with that offense and running with it, and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as well. But my gosh, he has been good. And the fact that he's been pressured more than any other quarterback in the league and has the highest completion percentage is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous. And you're going to see the two most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL in Ryan Tannehill and Joe Burrow. And what you just said, really quickly, Ed Orgeron and Joe Brady, both without a job right now, right? Like, that's
exactly.
Good that Joe Burrow was.
49ers, Packers. 49ers going to Lambeau. Packers 5.5-point favorites. Jimmy G. On the throwing hand, injured. Throwing shoulder, injured. How do you see this one going?
Yep. So let's keep going with that, okay? So it's -7 degrees as we speak right now in Green Bay.
Okay,
it's going to be around 0 at kickoff. Snow at night. Here's a stat for you. Since 1960, there have been 17 games at Lambeau Field with a temperature at kickoff of 10 degrees or colder. All 17 of those games were 45 points or fewer. So give me the under 47.5 on that one.
Okay. Do you have any lean on that game in particular? 5.5. The 5.5 number was weird for me because I think it's slightly big for a Kyle Shanahan coach team.
Yeah, I mean 5.5 is a bad number to play, right? But I think the Packers are going to win this game. I think that they'll handle this game. The tough part is that this game, it could be a lot of running the football, and you're going to have to. To feel comfortable with 5.5, you're essentially going to need the Packers to be up 14, towards the end of the game because things could get weird. But I think the Packers are much too good. And you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, he's never started an NFL game lower than 32 degrees.
Right.
And you add in those injuries, right? Like they run the football, so it's not going to affect them too terribly much. But, yeah, I'll roll with the Packers on them.
You've already called Rams straight up in the first game Sunday. Second game Sunday, Bills at Kansas City. Kansas City, a 2-point favorite. We had a half, so we call it 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bills are going to win this game outright as well. Look, I like the Chiefs. I like what they've done, but the Chiefs do live a little bit on the side of it could get hairy. Okay, we've got it. It could get bad. And I know the Bills have done that too, but I think the Bills have found something here. And the problem for Kansas City is that, yeah, they can play in a shootout for sure. I think the Bills are much better, built to play in a shootout type game. Like, if you're looking at the over in this game, 54.5, 55, go ahead and just take the Bills, because that means that they're going to put up a ton of points. Here's the problem. The Bills have a pretty good defense too, right? Like, Kansas City's going to have to deal with that as well. And I think what happens is that the Bills have kind of figured out their equation that if they start a game quickly and they're converting touchdowns, first quarter, second quarter, right, they're going to make you one-dimensional. And you remember the problem with the Chiefs at the beginning of the year is that they were throwing the football. They weren't running the ball at all, right? So if the Bills do this and put up 7 points, 14 points, 17 points, like right out of the gate, it takes the run game away from Kansas City, and they're going to have to go back to what they were doing when it wasn't working out. And I think Buffalo's going to do exactly that. So, yeah, it's such a short spread here. Give me Buffalo with the point or with, money line. I think that they win this game outright for sure.
Give us your favorite coaching meltdown ever.
Coaching meltdown? Well, I mean, when you had, who was it, the New York Giants, when Gilbride was taking a swing, right, like on the sideline, like that was tough to beat, even though it was assistant coaches. I'll tell you my favorite coaching meltdown ever was when it was getting towards the end of Mike Ditka in Chicago, and he was doing a radio show out there, and some guy called him a clown or something like that, and Ditka gave the address of the radio station, said, "Come on, swing on through, big boy. Like, let's go."
Yeah. Yeah,
I got to give it to Dick in there.
Chicago's up there. They may have the Mount Rushmore of meltdowns. The meltdown Lee Ilya had as manager when he called all the Cubs fans that sat out in the bleachers a bunch of drunks.
I love that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and Ditka, that's a big guy. He played tight end. I mean, he's a size. Yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to try him in regards to
bad knees.
If
he caught you, you're done.
I understand that.
You're right. He ain't no puppy. Like, you're going to have to bring it, man. Yeah.
Right. He is Alan Bell at Alan Bell 247 on Twitter from CBS Sportsline. Alan, always appreciate it, man.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. And you can follow all of his work at sportsline.com.
At Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli, whether it's dine-in, to-go, or delivery, all the food free from dyes, artificial trans fat, processed MSG, healthy first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. And it's all about choice there, whether it's location at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and in Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. Whether it's 5 or 5,000, they're prepared for you. Catering anytime, anywhere. And again, it's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. The salads, the salad bar, over 30 items just to choose from, just from the salad bar. Catering anytime, anywhere, and in all the locations, complimentary free ice cream. A little cold today maybe for that, but it's going to get time for ice cream again. At Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, all the soups, the broccoli cheese, the basic chicken noodles, so good, bowl or cup, the fire-roasted tortilla, and I love the chili. All the great food at Jason's Deli any time of the year, a variety of delicious choices for breakfast, lunch, and all-day meals for groups of 5 or 5,000 with the catering or in the restaurant. Again, bringing more to the table at Jason's Deli. It's a family thing.
We got to get to a break. When we come back, we have a bunch of your texts to get to on the Tigers. Penny Hardaway, of course, sounding off last night to a Jeff Calkins question. If you have anything you want to add, Autos on listener line 901-360-8255. You can also message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Stick around. You're listening to Gabe and Stats on Sports 56 98.5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, That's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. 5S Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
General contractors, subcontractors, Zipcat can help you find workers for the jobs you're needing done. Contractors, just post your jobs on Zipcat for the price you want them done for. Subcontractors will find the jobs listed on Zipcat and offer to buy them. You both have 3 days to accept and approve the subcontracting job you bought. For the best tool in your toolbox, download the Zipcat app. Roofers, concrete, plumbers, HVAC, painters, download it free. Zipcat, Z-I-P-C-A-T. Z-I-P-C-A-T. That's Zipcat.
It's a new year. That means it's time for a floor model sale at Family Leisure. You can help Family Leisure make room for all the new 2022 products that are coming in. All floor models are priced to move right now. If it's on the floor, it's on sale. But you better hurry to get these special savings because once these floor models are gone, folks, they're gone. We're talking theater seating, massage chairs, arcades, foosball and hockey tables, all on sale. Shuffleboard tables, pool tables, they're on sale too. Plus, there's so much more on sale, and you can get New Year's deals on spas and swimming pools as well. Family Leisure needs the room for new inventory. So what's here has got to go. You can help them. The floor model sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Happy New Year from our good friends at Family Leisure.
Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is where you'll find the most bang for your buck. Take your pick with adventure-ready 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport or highest safety-rated 2022 Eclipse Cross. Ready to ride at $349 a month. And this is not a lease. You own it. Want 31 mpg highway in your SUV? We Gossett with 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. Now $398 a month. Plus, at Gossett Mitsubishi, you always get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So for our best deal, look no further than Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months at 2.9 APR, 3,000 down, 500 loyalty rebate, 500 military rebate, Sport NU 001422, MSRP 27010, Cross NZO 49092, MSRP 27,000, Outlander NZO 53093, MSRP 29615, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2022, dealer stock only.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss.
Got some text, the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255 if you'd like to follow up all basically on Penny Hardaway and the Tigers. You can also message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Now, first text here. Someone says, I sincerely hope he is lying. Penny is lying about not being embarrassed at this point. That would be bothersome to me as a fan if he wasn't. I can speak from a competitive point of view. You work on these things 365 days out of the year. You're doing things at all times. You're practicing. You're trying to recruit. You're doing your best to put the product you want out there. And when it doesn't go your way, it's competitive. It's you're competing with other guys. If you lose, you lose. If you struggle, you struggle. I don't know if embarrassment is the correct term for that. Disappointment, certainly.
Aggravation?
Aggravated, yes. Embarrassed, no. I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm trying to put my best foot forward. And if it doesn't work out for me, I don't know if embarrassment is the correct term for it.
I think he is a little embarrassed, though, and I think that is what played a part in him kind of having that outburst last night, because I think there's something that set him off. I mean, he's been very even keel all 4 years here, and so I think there's something that can, and I mean, if I was coming in and I gave all these out here, we want all the smoke, we're going to do this, we're going to win a national championship, I would probably be embarrassed if I'm sitting at 9-8 in my fourth year. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there is a little bit there. I mean, I don't know if he'd say that, but I'm sure there is a little bit of embarrassment.
And somewhere today sits Tubby and Donna Smith and Kerry Passner, that all three voiced at the end of a rough and tumble run at Memphis that they were glad to be out of there, that they didn't have to go through that anymore. Now for Josh, he's not doing very well right now. Today his net is 176. Tubby Smith's net at high point is 287. But they all lamented about the Memphis job really ground them up. Mm-hmm. Penny Hardaway has not been treated anything like what they got. Nothing close to it. Not close.
Like I said, tongue was held for the first 3 years. Let him grow. Let him learn how to be a college head coach, and then we can have.
We celebrated a goofy NIT championship.
Mm-hmm. But Bryant, what I would say to the embarrassment thing, and just from my experience, you have bad outings, and it's all in competitive nature.
For sure.
And I don't know if embarrassment is necessarily the correct word for the way you do feel after losing tough games, after getting blown out, after making mistakes.
Not just after that. I think just as a whole, you know? I mean, I think there's a sense of not just, hey, we're trying to compete and we're just not getting it done. I think it is starting to set in that this is kind of embarrassing that we're not playing as well as I want us to play.
Based on what he said about injuries and everything else, you sort of, I mean, he had the excuses last night.
He did.
And some of the sensitivity, some of what Coach Hardaway is now blanching at, is after all this bootlicking, room service treatment he's gotten, some of it from the very coup plotters themselves, most of it from them, and now him real or perceived thinking they've turned on him. And it's gotten rough and tumble. It's where it always goes, and it's one of the real downside to ever hiring that favorite son. Georgetown loses again yesterday. They're at 208 in the net. It's over for Patrick Ewing, and I think it is over for Penny Hardaway at the University of Memphis, whether it's in 2 months or in 14 months.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else says, hope I am wrong, but I get the feeling Penny is headed for a Johnny Majors moment, just not sure who Phil Fulmer is in this scenario.
Well, there's not one. It's not 82-year-old Larry Brown to step up from the staff.
And also,
you look at the staffing issues. I mean, we've had major staffing issues every year. Sam Mitchell, Mike Miller, Tony Madlock. Now this year, Rashid already gone. Who thinks Larry Brown's going to be here opening night next year?
Also, for the people saying that Larry Brown,
he doesn't even buy green bananas, or he buys green bananas. No, he doesn't buy green bananas.
For the people that are saying Larry Brown should take over, guys, he's 81 years old.
No, please.
He's past his prime. No, absolutely positive. No.
I do have to give Penny Hardaway credit. It only took 27 hours for him to knock off Joe Biden for worst press conference of the year.
Raider Corey chimes in. Well, the train has derailed. Penny wanted all the smoke, and now he and the team have imploded. The excuses must stop. Now we don't have a full roster. We're young. So losing to Ole Miss, Georgia, and Murray State, what is the excuse there? It's part of being a Division I coach who recruits nationally and has had the top recruiting class 2 out of the last 3 years without an NCAA tournament appearance. Expectations will be there. Apathy is starting to set in. People around me were leaving last night and bashing the performance. Sad times.
I think the people walking out early stung him.
I don't know what you expect. I mean,
I wonder if was it any booing in the building. I was not in the building. Was it booing? I know they were restless.
We're certainly not the Tubby Smith level of attendance. That's the sort of bright
not
spot.
Far
still.
off of it in some of the scans,
but
not in
we're
season
headed
ticket
that
sales.
direction. We're headed that direction. The product's just not good.
But season ticket and box sales or suite sales are still really good.
Oh,
Signage,
the season tickets,
corporate.
Yeah, we texted back and forth. Season ticket sales were very good this year for Memphis basketball because of the hype. Now,
and that's the number you're seeing, but don't believe that number. Everybody knows that. It's insulting to your intelligence to say there were 15,000 people there last night.
Somebody says, how many days until college football starts again?
225.
Attaboy.
There
Hey,
you go.
thanks for having that ready for me. I didn't have
You're
that
welcome.
number ready. Somebody says, give Penny credit for effort. But let's not confuse effort with results. Okay.
True.
He works at this. He does what he thinks is going to work. It just hasn't worked out.
I want to again impress how bad SMU was.
They were bad.
Yeah, it was an off night
there
for
for the
Mustangs.
taking for a pickup team.
Somebody says the parallels between UT football and Memphis basketball are very similar.
Well, they are, and I've gotten this today from people. I've heard, there are a lot of people around here, SEC types, that are glad of this. And I would say to you, yes, they are, especially Tennessee basketball fans and Tennessee football fans. Misery loves company,
the Rick
and
Barnes,
all that
Penny
with
saga and everything else,
and all that with Tennessee basketball and with Rick Barnes. But also this, people need to remember this. This is a big melting pot market that we do our best to cover it all. Primary, first and foremost, the hometown school, the hometown university, the Memphis Tigers, football, basketball, Grizzlies, etc. But then the SEC influence, and for 4 years, the SEC fans sit out there having jammed down their throat, all the smoke, going to take over the world, look out, there's a new boss in town, and it's been nothing. It's been nothing. To go on the road and lose at Georgia and to lose at Ole Miss. Today, Georgia, 14 out of 14 in SEC nets, 227 nationally. Ole Miss, 12 out of 14 in SEC nets, 134. And he had full teams for both of those games.
Somebody else chimes in. It will turn around at Memphis. Be patient. How patient? Oh, my gosh. I don't know how last night leads you to this type of text, but patience, my gosh. I know it's a virtue, but seeing what he said last night is not buying him any time, and it's not going to make people have any more patience with him. I can assure you that. Somebody says, I wonder in the Tiger recruiting over the last 2 or 3 years, if Penny had concentrated on a couple of really good point guards, how much difference that would have made. I would imagine a lot. If he had somebody who could
huge.
handle the ball comfortably, it would have made all the difference because
and
Alex
Earl Timberlake
Lomax
shot.
ain't the answer. Earl Timberlake certainly ain't
He's gonna
the
wear
full
out the
answer.
front of the rim.
He's their best option, but he ain't the answer. Rated R Superstar chimes in. He said he hasn't said we want all the smoke in 3 years. You will not let that go. He said it. He said it. When he was asked what are the expectations, what should we expect from your team, he said we want all the smoke. If you want all of it, then accept it when it comes your way. Win games that you're supposed to win. Don't lose games that you're not supposed to lose.
And he had compliant media writing columns that said when Memphis fired Tubby Smith to hire Hardaway, lots of folks had jokes, but all Penny's done since is sell tickets, fill buildings, secure the nation's #1 recruiting class, and create a preseason top 10. Anybody still got jokes?
And here's another one that I think this is a very, very true statement, a very fair assessment. Tommy Lloyd is a new coach. And yes, he paid his dues before. You do have to pay attention to that. But new head coach, and his team is ranked third. Had his team ranked third. Penny has top recruiting classes and nowhere to be found. It's a fair assessment. There are coaches that get it done in the first few years.
Love
New guy,
Tommy Lloyd.
Texas
Head
Tech.
coaches. Yeah, Mark Adams. It's definitely frustrating.
Heck,
But,
Iowa State.
yes, with a roster he had to completely rebuild. With a team that won 2 games.
Never mind Eric Musselman
how
gave
many
the lead
games?
8
2
in year
games?
2 last year.
Two.
Oh, my gosh. That'll do it for hour number 1. Keep the text coming in. 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Hour 2 is going to be a busy one. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet to start it. Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas on the SEC and the Tigers. And at the bottom of the hour, Brian Brett and I will all rank the NFL QBs participating in the divisional round. You won't want to miss it. Stick around right here on Sports 56, 98.5.
What a great time to start a new year with a new car, truck, or SUV from our friends at Auto Universe Germantown. The new go-to place for the finest luxury vehicles you'll find in one place anywhere. It's on Winchester, just off 385. I'm out here looking at hundreds right now. Lexus, Toyota, Infiniti. Here's some great-looking Audis and Jeeps. And I see Hondas, Chevys, Mercedes, beautiful trucks, SUVs, and of course, cars. Go to eAutoUniverseGermantown.com and take a look for yourself. A lot of people complaining about long wait times getting service appointments. Well, just call Robert here at Auto Universe Germantown. He'll get you in now. 901-751-7300. Everything from brake service, rotating tires, transmission service, even checking the battery. Winchester just off 385. That's where they're located. You're going to love Auto Universe Germantown. Ask for Zach and tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Radio. Finest pre-owned luxury vehicles and great no-haggle prices. 7300 Winchester off 385. Or online at eAutoUniverse.com.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store. Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 2 is upon us on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Bruce Marshall will join us in just a moment. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. You have any games you want us to go over with Bruce? So really good news here for me tonight, Brett. Have you heard of Ozark? I don't hear you. Did we lose Brett?
No.
There you are. You've heard of Ozark?
I have.
Season 4 dropped last night at midnight. Are you a fan, Brian? You got to be a fan.
Well, I was going to ask. I haven't watched it, but I've had like 4 or 5 people come to me today and be like, Ozark dropped today. And I haven't watched it yet. What is it about?
It's about a family who moves to the Lake of the Ozarks, and they're caught up with the Bird family, Marty and Wendy Bird. They're caught up with the cartel, basically. It is a complicated
right there, Lake
series.
of Ozarks.
It's a good one, yeah. I actually, growing up, a few vacation days out at the
Did you ever
Lake of the
suspect
Ozarks.
anybody of maybe being the
I don't
family?
know. I have no idea.
The family next door.
Who knows? But Marty and Wendy Bird returned to Netflix.
I hear about Ozark and I hear about Yellowstone.
I watch. I
haven't started Yellowstone
I am
either.
watching far too many series at the same time. I have Yellowstone.
I drink
going.
a lot of Yellowstone whiskey, but I've never watched a TV show.
They still sell Yellowstone whiskey?
I hope not, because, boy, it was rot gutting today.
Anything like Kentucky Tavern? Anything like KT?
It'd take the varnish off, I'll put it that way.
Let's go ahead and bring in Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Bruce, how are you?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
First of all, give us one of those classic Bruce Marshall Gold Sheet innocuous college basketball picks for the weekend.
Well, let's go tonight. I call it Funky Friday because you get some of these leagues that are featured tonight we don't see all that much. So let's go up to the Northeast tonight. And how about this one? Not sure this is creating the buzz it should in the Big Apple, but you've got Bob Beckel's alma mater, Wagner, from Staten Island, going into Brooklyn to face the Long Island Claire Bees. I mean the Blackbirds. I mean the Sharks. That's what their name is now.
They're not the Blackbirds?
No, they're the Sharks. I mean, I can't believe that. And they changed that, I guess, last year. Totals only sit in the mid-140s. These teams, in every game they have played in the Northeast thus far, have each scored at least 72 points. So by the standards, and Wagner's a good example of a team. I call them the anti-Memphis. We'll get to the Tigers in a minute, but this, when you get continuity, it helps. The same guys in the roster for a few years in a row. Wagner's actually pretty good, but the total's about 144.5. They're going to clear that tonight. So I'm going to look over in Wagner and Long Island, your Friday night special.
Nothing like over on Friday night.
Nothing like seeing our producer Brian Dacus already clearly having that locked in on whatever app.
Oh no, I just love Long Island. So when I heard that, I was let's go.
Long Island,
the Sharks.
Bruce, one college football or college basketball historical note: USC making a lot of noise in the top 10. Highest ranked since 1974. You knew Bob Boyd well. You have written about him extensively, and his years at USC. Now that year in '74, help me on the time frame. That was post Paul Westphal, wasn't it?
Yes, that team cooled off as the season progressed. I mean, they were sitting pretty good into through December. And then they tailed off. That team didn't end up ranked. The team, 74, 75. I think the last ranking they're talking about was in December, later in 74. Earlier in 74, the 73-74 team played UCLA pretty tough and actually had a showdown game against the Bruins at the Sports Arena for the Pac-12 championship at the end of the regular season and lost. Participated in that first college conference commissioners tournament, if you remember that.
Yes, Kentucky was in that.
Yeah, and Indiana was too. And Bob Knight's Indiana won and beat SC in the final. Knight was a good friend of Boyd, by the way. So, I mean, that team was in the rankings. They were also in the rankings in 74 early in the season. The best SC team ever was the team in 1970-71. Now, that's the team that had Westphal and that was undefeated into early February. And ranked number 1 after UCLA lost that game to Austin Carr and Notre Dame back in South Bend, lost a very tough game to UCLA when SC didn't score a basket, in the last 9 minutes, 64-60. And that they were actually number 1 at that point. The only other game they lost that year was the second meeting against UCLA, 24-2. Did not even get in the NCAA tournament because back then it was only the conference champions that did. So that was a top 5. That was the the last team, SCD, that actually was number one, and the standard by which all Trojan Hoops teams are measured. And this team, though, looks good, though it did lose twice within the last week, so we'll see.
I know pure speculation, but if the tournament had been more teams then and not just the AQ teams, like and UCLA always came out of the pack, how many would that have shaved off Wooden's run?
Maybe a few of them. I don't know that anybody was going to beat the El Cinder teams. But there's one thing UCLA had, and what happened back then, when UCLA would win, or whoever won the old AEW Pac-8, they went straight to the Sweet 16. When the tournaments were only 22, 23, 24 teams, a lot of the major conferences, there wasn't anything like that first weekend. You went in the Sweet 16. So right from the get-go. So UCLA, you win twice, you're in the Final Four. And UCLA would only usually have to face other teams from the West in the in the Sweet 16. So it was a team, WCAC from the PC2A, maybe a team from the WAC. The most challenge, UCLA did have a few challenges when Seattle was a independent. Bob Boyd coached there in '64, almost beat UCLA. USF had a good team, some teams with Pete Valletta. Lou Henson's New Mexico State gave UCLA some trouble in '68 and '69, but their
with Sam Lacey.
Yeah, and it was Sam Lacey and Jimmy Collins, and they were the road was paved into the Final Four. I mean, there's no way that, and a lot of the teams, if the tournament was a 68-team tournament back then, it would have shaved a few of them off.
And I asked that, Bruce, because I'm trying to make my case, and I'm sure was getting ready to start it with if Saban had won yet another, but he's going to win at least two more before he's done at Bama, that he's not only the greatest college football coach ever, he's the greatest winning champion coach ever across any sport, including Auerbach, including Phil Jacks, including John Wooden.
It could be. You could make that argument. Well, whatever the dynamics were, I mean, nobody's going to touch Wooden, what he did over those 10, 12 years. I mean, he won 10 out of 12. He won 7 in a row, and he also won 38 straight NCAA tournament games. Now, I told you why the dynamics were different then. It wasn't quite as difficult, but that's what it was then. So Wooden will always have an argument for that, and there'll always be Wooden people will say no. Although I think you might be right, because doing it in this era, and I'm not sure football is the best example of that. Basketball lately, I mean, what Krzyzewski was able to do for all those getting to the Final Fours through the decades with Duke, that might be up there too. So it's good debate to have for sure.
Talking with Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Bruce, the news of yesterday, NCAA convention and the Constitution vote, it officially gets approved, the streamlined Constitution that's going to grant authority to each division to create its own policy. I've seen two separate thoughts on this. One side says there's going to be overarching, sweeping changes to what we view, even more than what we've seen with NIL and everything else, transfer portal, what have you, in college sports. And there's some people that say there's going to be a lot of bark, no bite, and they don't think there will be all that drastic changes. Where do you stand on this? What do you think will happen in the next 6 to 8 months?
I'm not sure, but this might be the prelude to something. Anything short of the major conferences just telling the NC2A to take a hike, and we're doing it ourselves, and we don't need you. Mm-hmm. The NC2A is pretty much out of big-time football anyway. They don't and that happened. That's been that way since the early '80s, when the television deals changed with the BCA, whatever it was called in the early '80s. I'm kind of forgetting right now, but that's when the NC2A got out of the TV business. They've been out of football anyway, so this is mostly a basketball thing. So that's why the NC2A sort of exists. So anything the NC2A does that prevents it from splintering, that prevents the big conferences from saying, we don't need you anymore, is good for the NC2A, because that could happen. In our lifetimes, I think we'll see that. And we'll see. I'm not sure how these rules and downstream, maybe some of the lower divisions, it will make some difference. But the whole thing, for the NCAA by me is, I think they're an endangered organization and could be made extinct if the big conferences ever get together. The problem is there's not one real ringleader of that I could see that would do that, but it's something that could happen in the future.
Do you like any of these 4 NFL playoff games in the divisional round more than you love the Wagner LIU over 144.5?
Actually, no.
That's great, Bruce.
But the one I do like is the biggest spread tomorrow is the 49ers, and I think they've got a shot to win that game. Green Bay walked a pretty tight, narrow line there against better teams this year. And I know they won at home, but the Niners have been kryptonite for Green Bay in the playoffs in the past, and Aaron Rodgers. They do some things that can bother Green Bay. San Francisco rushes the passer with just its front 4. And the fact that Bosa's going to play and also Warner's going to play, it looks like, the best linebacker, that's a plus for San Francisco. But they don't need to do anything tricky. They just get all that pressure up front. They've bothered Rodgers in the past. But they also can run the ball. And Elijah Mitchell's ability to really fill in where Raheem Mostert was a couple of years ago and take that role. Plus this creative way that Kyle Shanahan has figured out how to use Deebo Samuel. They're extremely dangerous. In fact, I kind of equate them a little bit to the Atlanta Braves in the last baseball season, who kind of caught fire at midseason, and that kept rolling all the way through the playoffs, through the World Series. I think the Niners have a shot to take this thing the whole way now because they look like they did 2 years ago, and I thought they should have won it 2 years ago. And I think Green Bay is shaking in its boots for this game. So I think the Niners don't like cover, but they can win that one tomorrow night in Lambeau.
What do you think about a possible total play there? Is there one, in your opinion, with Jimmy G, with the injuries to the finger and the shoulder, and it's going to be cold, and we know that the 49ers play relatively good defense?
Well, I mean, it would seem you'd have the under might be something to look at there, except when these teams have played. Though all the recent games have been in San Francisco the last few years. The last 3 of them have gone over. And including that game back in late September. So the series history is over. I could see the case for the under. That might be something. But, the Niners are a different team now than they were the first half of the season. And it all sort of turned around that game against the Rams, the Monday night game in mid-November, when it all sort of came back together for them. I like a team that's looked into the abyss the way they have 2 weeks ago against the Rams, pull itself out. They have won on the road. They went into L.A. and won. They had to win. They went to Dallas and won. That's hard to quantify, and how important that really is. So you might be right on the total if you like the under. I wouldn't argue with that, but I think the side is the call in that game.
Now, the early game on Saturday, 3:30 CBS, Bengals at Titans. Titans 3.5-point favorites. Bengals win their first playoff game since 1990 with Joe Burrow going. But the Titans are getting back Derrick Henry. Which way do you feel on this?
Yeah, that half point on top of the 3 might be important because Tennessee's won a lot of games by 3 points this year. In fact, I think their point margin is plus 3.8, which is pretty low for a team that's the top conference seed going into the playoffs. This not taking nothing away from Mike Vrabel to get this team to be the top seed without Derrick Henry for half the year. I think Vrabel's the coach of the year in the AFC. But I don't know if I would lay the points here. Even with Henry back, one thing, they ran still fairly effectively with Dante Foreman while Henry was out, although not with that big play dimension that Henry gives you. I mean, he has so many big play touchdowns and big runs, and if he hits that 100%, yeah, I mean, he's a force. But I actually think the bigger X factor here is Joe Burrow the other way. The fact, and the ceiling is so high for Cincy with Burrow and Jamar Chase, and the fact, I don't think they played all that great against the Raiders last week. I mean, they certainly weren't great in the red zone. They could do better than that, and they still won. And that's actually would be a very scary thing to me if I'm a Tennessee fan. Cincinnati is a real wild card in this thing, literally and figuratively. And the fact that Burrow can do what he can do really would be scary. So we actually picked Cincy to win 28-26. So I did pick the Bengals for the upset. I'd also look over in this one because with Henry back, here's a note. Before Henry got hurt, from mid-2019 when Tannehill took over for Mariota till mid this season when Henry got hurt, Tennessee was over 28-10 over a 38-game span with Tannehill and Henry in the lineup. So with Henry back, that big play dimension, it just seems like their games go over a lot. So I might look for that to return as well, maybe an over, but Cincy for the upset, I think.
Now, on Sunday, we have the weird start times, 2 and 5:30, but the 2 o'clock game, NBC Rams at Bucks. Bucks 2.5-point favorites, but they come into this one limping a little bit. Leonard Fournette out. Ryan Jensen and Tristan Wirfs will be game-time decisions. Which way do you feel?
Yeah, and that 2.5 is kind of interesting there, Gabe, because they've bet that down from 3. So when you bet it beneath a key number like that, there's some pressure, and it's pretty much 2.5s everywhere right now. Wirfs and Jensen will be important because in Fournette, I'm not sure if Fournette is totally out for this game. He's been out for a while. They were hoping to get him back. It'd have to be Keyshawn Vaughn, the Vanderbilt rookie, to come in there and run. Fournette can't go, and he's been okay in recent weeks. But the game earlier this season in Inglewood back in late September and the Monday night game last season, both times the key in the game was Tampa Bay could not run. In fact, in the game in September, late September this season in Inglewood, Brady was actually the leading rusher, 14 yards rushing, and the whole team only had 35 yards rushing. Brady threw 55 passes in that game. He threw 48 in the game last season. That's way too much for Tampa Bay, for the balance that Bruce Arians would like to strike. He doesn't want Brady to throw the ball 50 times in a game. So they're going to have to run the ball a little bit. In their favor, though, remember last year in the playoffs, how it's about adjustments at this time. And Arians and Brady made some nice adjustments last year. They beat the Saints after losing twice to Drew Brees in the regular season last year. They beat them in the playoffs down in the Superdome. They also avenged a regular season loss to the Chiefs. Brady, 9 straight wins in the division round. And I know the Rams looked super on Monday night, and Stafford finally got that playoff win. And it's unfair to compare him to Brady because Detroit had a lot to do with Stafford not winning playoff games in the past. But Stafford, the second half of the season, to me, looked like, he can get rattled. He threw 11 picks last half of the season. 4 of those went back for pick sixes. 1 or 2 mistakes like that, and the Rams are in trouble. I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game 30-23. Bucks is our score forecast. My other prediction here is at least one of these head coaches will not be in the same job next year.
Whoa. Interesting. And Bruce Arians is coming sort of to the end of his career, but Sean McVay, we'll see what happens. Last game to discuss with you, Sunday, 5:30, CBS, Bills at Chiefs. This is the one that I think everyone's struggling with. You look at the public, the line has moved a little bit. Started at 2.5, was it 1.5? I think it's back at 2.5. But Chiefs, 2.5-point favorites, and this is the highest total of the week at 54.
Yeah, and a good one here. Rematch of the AFC Championship game. But just an observation on my part, watching Buffalo, it's different. When you watch Buffalo play at home, by the way, nobody's gotten their uniform dirty in a Buffalo game in a half century at home. And it looks sort of like an electric football game with the Bills. Everybody's standing up, and there's passes that go out of bounds. Now they're playing on grass this week, thank goodness. And I don't know that Buffalo is quite the same when people are actually going to get tackled and things like that, not just passes out of bounds and all that. Kansas City's defense has turned things around since midseason, and Kansas City was struggling early in the season, and that's when they lost that game at home to the Bills, and they lost that game big at Tennessee. They got Chris Jones back. When they missed him, they lost all the games he was out, and Spagnuolo made some adjustments on defense. That pass rush was much more effective. I think the whole game here comes down to what the Chiefs do to contain Josh Allen in the pocket somewhat, because he is very dangerous when he gets out and moves. We saw what he did in New England last week, which didn't have a clue how to stop him. I would also, if I'm a Buffalo fan, if there's some in Memphis, and I know there's a lot up in the Northeast, send a thank you card to John Elway and a Christmas card every year in December, because the fact Denver didn't draft Allen when he was sitting right there for them a few years ago, and Elway decided he wanted Bradley Chubb instead of the quarterback, the franchise quarterback, playing up the road there in Laramie. that has changed the course of the Buffalo franchise and Denver too. So that's just a little history lesson there for Bills fans. Thank John Elway for giving you Josh Allen and not taking him in the draft. But that's the whole thing, I think, here. Can Kansas City contain him? I think they will. I don't think Buffalo's quite the same out on the road. Now, maybe this is a different Buffalo team, but they haven't won a road playoff game in almost 30 years. 31-23 Chiefs. I'm not sure what to do with the total there, but the price, I think, gives us a chance to take the Chiefs. Mahomes has only lost to Brady in the playoffs before. I don't think Allen's going to beat him on Sunday.
And speaking of John Elway might not be the GM for the Broncos much longer.
Well, he's already not. I mean, he went up to George Payton came in last year. He had a ceremonial role as the team president, and he is. And the contract is up, I think, at the end of this month. So I expect he's going to leave the organization. I'm almost sure. But he did enough damage after that last Super Bowl, and he moved out after last season as a GM. He had messed things up royally there, and I don't think there's a bigger flub than what he did not taking Josh Allen. And I yelled about it at the time.
No question.
And by the way, Allen remembered that too. That game in Denver last year, he was extremely motivated, and the Bills destroyed the Broncos in that Saturday game. So repercussions and a draft miss like that, and it's tale of two franchises for the next decade because what Elway didn't
Wages of sin is death, Bruce.
No question. Bruce, where do we find more of you?
Check us out online, goldsheet.com. More in-depth on these NFL games, and, of course, do it all the way through the Super Bowl. And every day we got that basketball publication up there as well. And our picks, my picks too, goldsheet.com. My picks are there. They're also at Vegas Insider and donbest.com.
Appreciate it. Thanks as always, Bruce.
Good luck, Bruce.
Okay, guys.
Good luck.
Have a good one.
You're the best. Thank you, Bruce.
And you can follow all his work where he said, and he is at the Gold Sheet. Now, we got to get to a break. We're a little bit late for it. When we come back, Drew Barrett will join us from ESPN Arkansas. We'll talk SEC. We'll talk Tigers. We'll get into all of it when we come back on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You might not know me, but I'm Zip with the ZipCat construction app.
Why are you collecting leftover construction materials, Zip?
I'm turning it into cash.
That's easy. You can turn leftover materials into cash. Keep it out of dumpsters and help the environment.
That's why they call me Zip, the construction guru. Also, ZipCat app saves you time and money. Lets you describe a job, name your price, and get a job done.
That's smart, Zip. You're amazing.
General contractors. Take a few minutes. Price a job and get it done. Download the free ZipCat app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Best tool in your toolbox.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Thanks to Vinny at the text line, 901-360-8255, AutoZone. Listener like in the Zone, AutoZone. Thanks to Vinny, he let us know about our Yellowstone whiskey. He says they still sell Yellowstone whiskey, and he says it's still terrible. He said about the same as drinking cold duck wine out of a boot. So
Vinny, it was. I had a friend of mine. He'd get a cup, like a stadium cup, just a yay size highball cup. Ice, Yellowstone whiskey in it.
And I remember my first experience with bad whiskey.
They put hair on your chest.
And I bet Drew can speak to this. Kentucky Tavern is when I first started drinking. If you got whiskey. That's where you're getting it, about $8 in the plastic bottle at the store. About as gross as it gets. About as nasty as it gets.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. My dad's friend growing up. He always had the best line ever about Kentucky Tavern. He always said the KT ain't gonna drink itself.
That is beautiful.
Now we bring in Drew Barrett at DBarrett36 from ESPN Arkansas.
Hey Drew.
Drew, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Just enjoying y'all's little whiskey talk there before you brought me in.
Did you get some KT?
My first experience with Old Charter.
Ooh,
that was the nasty cheap stuff that we.
8 or 10 year old.
Well, here's the thing, Drew. Coming up for me, you graduated from KT to Evan Williams. You graduated. Yeah. That was the graduation. KT
that
though,
is true. You got to slowly evaluate because. At Gagliano's Liquor back in college, you can get a fifth of Evan for, I believe, $9 with the student.
What a deal!
Hey, the bottle shop, Brett. I don't know if you know this, but Drew, you probably know this. The bottle shop used to give the student discount. They used to have a student
bottle shop. Gagliano's Liquor right there in Getwell.
Gotta love
student discount all the time, even before I was 21. They still give it out.
Hey, don't incriminate yourself.
Way off
now.
Track. Brian included. Have any of y'all driven down Highland lately?
Oh,
it's like going down a gravel road.
Well, the potholes are terrible.
Yeah, and I think they're resurfacing, but that area, like from Fox 13, like from Char to the railroad track at Southern, you can't go more than 5 miles per hour.
No.
The problem all started when they tried to put those potted plants in the middle of the street, and everybody
horrible idea.
Trying to leave newbies in the block.
Horrible idea.
And you know what? Around Memphis, and I know in certain situations it takes a while to get the roads fixed, but even the steel plates they put over the potholes are no better than the pothole. Barely better than the potholes.
A lot of steel plates on that stretch, Gabe. You're right. Back to whiskey talk. It took years for me to discover Maker's Mark, but damn, the hardest thing about it was getting in that bottle.
I think I like those things.
It's kind of hard to get off there, can't it?
Mm-hmm. I like
all that wax and stuff.
I like the bottle. I think the bottle's pretty cool.
I do too. A friend of mine has the last airline bottle. You know, the little airline bottles that I took to college football on the last day I ever drank at college football. A friend of mine in New Orleans, he has it's about a quarter full. He says he can't believe I didn't empty it. It's about a quarter full. I left in his vehicle, and he has it at the top of his bar in New Orleans where nobody will ever. And he even has a note on it: "Do not consume. This is the last thing Brett didn't consume."
Wow, legendary. What bar is this at? So I can visit. I'm gonna have to visit.
It's at his home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying he owned a bar. But Drew,
No.
All right, let's get into it, Drew. I think as far as basketball is concerned, we're having a pretty eventful day, to say the least.
Yeah, I think so.
What did you think about how everything played out last night, the game, and then the Penny Hardaway comments after?
Well, ultimately, we'll start with the game itself, and the fact of the matter that you didn't score till 5 minutes and 52 seconds into the game, almost to the full 6-minute mark, was a really bad omen to start off with. You didn't feel like you were going to get the job done. I know you didn't have Landon Nolly or DeAndre Williams out there last night, and then me and Brad were texting him during the game, and I had to ask him who a player was, because I had never seen number 31 in my life, and I had no idea who he was.
Tadarius Jacobs.
Brett kindly informed me of who he was, and when you see him play multiple minutes, I tweeted it out last night. It might be fact. I haven't had time to go back and look, but the fact that you had 2 walk-on players play multiple minutes last night, that's kind of a bad sign. It's kind of something that shows you kind of where the state of the program is right now. And before I get into Penny's comments, I do just want to clarify that I'm going off of straight facts. There's a lot of emotion going around, and I think there's 2 sides of the fan bases. One that's kind of like me, a little bit upset, a little bit trying to figure out what the next move is for this program and how you get everything back on track. And then there's the side of the fan base that I wouldn't even say they've got blue and gray blinders on. They've got blue and gray blindfolds on. They're not even trying to look at anything, and they're not trying to look at this rationally or try to see where the other side of the fan base is coming from. They are full on see no evil, hear no evil, there is no evil, that Penny is God, and that nothing he does is wrong, and that
Penny of Nazareth.
Yes, exactly, and that the national media and everybody else is, they're out to get us. They've got an agenda. There's no such thing as a national agenda to get Penny Hardaway. We had a guy, Aaron Torres. He's frequently covers. You can hear him fill in for the Odds Couple a lot. Does a lot of stuff with Fox Sports Radio, and he was told us today there's nothing he and a lot of national media members don't want to see more than Penny succeed. An All-American, NBA All-Star, to become a championship coach and to make it actually work. And, you see what's going on at Georgetown with Patrick Ewing. I mean, it's just most of those programs are programs that people want to root for. They want to see Ewing and Hardaway work out, and it's just not working. And then ultimately, with the comments last night, I think the question might have been a little...
We've talked about it. We definitely have covered it. We thought it was bad. Really bad.
It was a bad look. I think that Calkins probably shouldn't have asked it at that point. I think you can clearly see Penny was upset. I think it might have been a little bit of a baiting job by Jeff Calkins, but at the same time, that was the moment that Penny needed to be ultimate coach speak of, I can get this job done.
Agreed.
We still got a few things to work out. This is on me. I've got to figure it out. Blah, 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 same stuff that we've seen over and over again. And, I almost feel like a hypocrite because we do talk about, we don't want coach speak. And then as soon as they're real, well, what are you doing being real with us? We need the coach speak. So, I think it was overboard the way that he reacted, and the main problem with his comments that I had, it wasn't the F-bombs, it wasn't, I'm working hard, or, y'all got to stop writing these stories about me. The problem that I had with the comments, the true fact of the matter is that he tried to blame it on having young guys on the team. The last time I checked, I have not seen a story where Coach K has gone at a Duke press conference and said, hey, can y'all give me a break? I got 18-year-olds out here, top 10 rated guys in a program, and they're trying to play against 22, 23, 24 guys. You've got to cut me some slack. You're not hearing Coach Cal say that. You're not hearing Sean Miller out of Arizona. You're not hearing it coming out of Kansas. You're not hearing it coming out of North Carolina. Mark Few ain't spewing those type of words. You don't get to put a team together with 17-year-old guys he didn't have to, kind of talk Imani Bates into reclassifying. He didn't have to, take the guys that he had. Now that he's formed this roster the way that he has to live and die by these quote-unquote 17, 18-year-olds that are trying to learn how to play the game. That's ridiculous. You don't get to put something together and then ask for slack when it doesn't work. That is on you 100%. If the 17, 18-year-old guys can't get it done, then, by golly, play Tyler Harris 40 minutes. Play Alex Lomax 40 minutes. Play your older guys 40 minutes and be damned with Imani Bates and Jalen Duren. Just get over yourself and don't act for slack when it's something you've done yourself. And that's the thing that really, really ticked me off about it. And, ultimately, the facts of the matter is, and this is the facts that I'm going off of, where this program should be is not in a place where in the span of 10 days, you lose to an average SMU team at home. You lose to an average Central Florida team on the road. And you should never, and I mean never, lose to an East Carolina team, regardless if you're playing on the dang moon. That's why so many people are frustrated with Penny. It's because you keep selling us this bill of goods every offseason, making the circuit. We want the smoke. We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. You keep telling us this stuff year in and year out, and you're not delivering it. I'm tired of being sold a bill of goods that does not get delivered. And thank you for letting me rant for a minute.
We want you to. Drew Barrett, our guest, our friend. He's at ESPN Radio in Fort Smith, a longtime Sports 56 employee, proud graduate of the University of Memphis. And, Drew, we begged people. You and I on these airwaves, we begged people in the end days of Tubby Smith when the coup plotters were in full force, masterminding, engineering, Machiavellian, planning the ouster of Tubby Smith and the entrance of Penny Hardaway into head coach. We beg people, watch what you're saying in the digging comments, not by Tennessee fan, not by mean old Ole Miss fan, not by Razorback fan, but by Tiger fans, what they were saying about the program then, going in deep, going in cutting. And you and I both said if it was somebody else of a different stripe of fan, they would be fighting words. Now they want all the protection of don't say anything ugly about anything. After 4 years, when Tubby just got 2, the end of the Josh Pashner era got really ugly. And now for the university, whether it's in 2 months or this time next year, they're going to be making a change. This is not ending well for Penny Hardaway.
It's not, and you're exactly right. 4 years ago, we begged people to kind of look at a broader span of time other than what's in front of us. I know some people were disappointed, with what Tubby was doing. The fact that he wasn't very animated, that he was trying to get guys to fit his system.
He was awful.
And not go after the big, flashy guys. I get it. People want flash. That's why you went out and got a guy like Penny Hardaway who gives you a bunch of flash. But I tried to tell people, and I hate to do this because I love my university. I love my alma mater. I hope it all gets turned around and I have to eat a dinner-sized plate of crow in a month. I really do. But I told people, when you hire the legend, when you hire the hero, just like any other relationship you get into, it's going to end in one of two ways. You're either going to fall madly in love right off into the sunset and live happily ever after, or you're going to end up hating each other and you never want to speak to the other person again. That's the only way a relationship of any sort ever finishes. There is no, really, especially in sports, there's no, oh, you did your best. Go play some golf and, we'll see you at the Forum a few nights a year, shake some hands, kiss some babies, sign some autographs, and it's all good. No, it's either he wins championships and rides off into the sunset as one of the greatest college basketball players of all time and one of the greatest college coaches of all time, or you have to fire him. And I tried to tell people that, but no, they all wanted the smoke. They all wanted the flash. They wanted the stars next to the guy's name. While Tubby was over here trying to do things the slow, methodical way, and it just wasn't enough for the people that had some pull and decision. And I know I might be crossing the line here, but I honestly, seeing what's going on in the last couple of days and just blowing over yesterday, I hope Tom Bowen is having a big laugh. today. I really do. I hope he feels justified.
So I know where you...
And they destroyed him over Larry Brown.
They did,
Yeah.
and they did him so dirty.
Yeah, and I know you, part of the comments that Penny had last night that really rubbed you the wrong way is the excuses. And I think a lot of people, those are falling on deaf ears. How do you feel about him generalizing the media? That to me is more or less, based on what he said last night, I feel like that is a death blow to go after the media in general, because I don't know about you.
When it's been cream puffer.
I don't know about you, Drew, but I think he has been treated with held tongues at times for the past 3 to 4 years.
He's gotten to coach in nothing but sunflowers and dandelions. I mean, he's acting like he's been dodging artillery fire for the past 4 years when that's not the case. And, you know, if you got a problem with Calkins, call out Calkins. If you got a problem with somebody, you know, take him to the side. It's not like he can't get one of our phone numbers. I mean, the man's the most well-connected person in Shelby County. If he's got a problem with somebody that really irks him that bad, you know, have a conversation with that person. But ultimately, and there's another thing that you can't tell people, right? People refuse to believe that we just do our job. It's Jeff Calkins and all the other writers and columnists' job to write about what they see. Us talking heads in radio, it's our job to talk about what we see.
Mm-hmm.
If you want us to talk about something different or you want them to write about something different, then do something
Show
different.
us something
you want
different.
us to talk about you succeeding, then by God, have some success on the court.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only person that can control the narrative, what we write and what we say, is you. We are telling the story that you are giving us, and what you are giving us is not a happy ever after story. It's a tragedy. It's a William Shakespeare tragedy where somebody's dying.
Mm-hmm. Now, real quick, because you cover the Hogs pretty closely, and we're up against the break, so it'll have to be relatively quick. How has the tide changed? Has the thought process changed after 3 straight wins?
55 net. There's going to be 7 teams from the SEC, and right now they're battling it out with Florida State and themselves.
Yeah, there definitely are. I'll be real quick. Going to go to my first Hog game, actually, at Bud Walton Arena tomorrow night to see them play Texas A&M. Tides have changed. People are getting back on the must bus, as they like to call it, and they're feeling good about it. I think that Jalen Williams has been the biggest thing to kind of turn the tide for the University of Arkansas. As he goes, the Razorbacks go. He's had almost 4 straight double-doubles, finished the rebound short last game. But I think getting the revenge tomorrow night against A&M, getting that 4 straight, and real quick, Brett, tomorrow might be my favorite day. We've got Egg Bowl on the hardwood and Southwest Classic on the hardwood.
Yes,
there you go.
Great day for basketball.
The whole South. I wish Shelby Metcalf was there tomorrow night. I don't know if Shelby's even still with us at the A&M game. Drew, great stuff.
I always appreciate
you'll love tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon at Bud Walton. You'll love it.
I'm sure I will. I appreciate y'all having me, and I appreciate y'all giving me a public avenue to kind of get
always,
my stuff
man.
out there.
Weekly.
I tried to do it for a few minutes today, and I was getting texts saying, go back to the Razorbacks. I want to talk about Mud.
You're the man, Drew. Appreciate it.
5 minutes is enough. I'll pass.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
At DBarrett36 on Twitter, if you'd like to follow Drew. Now, we're going to switch gears completely. We still have some texts we're going to read at some point during the show. Still some on the Tigers. Get them in, 901-360-8255. And also you can message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. But when we come back, it'll be time for us to get into our top 8 NFL QBs that are playing this weekend right here on Sports 56 98.5.
Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane bring you Sports 56 Grind Time. Brought to you by Poultry Power. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at CHOATSHVAC.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is where you'll find the most bang for your buck. Take your pick with adventure-ready 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport or highest safety-rated 2022 Eclipse Cross. Ready to ride at $349 a month. And this is not a lease. You own it. Want 31 mpg highway in your SUV? We Gossett with 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. Now $398 a month. Plus, at Gossett Mitsubishi, you always get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So for our best deal, look no further than Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months at 2.9 APR, 3,000 down, 500 loyalty rebate, 500 military rebate. Sport NU 001422, MSRP 27010. Cross NZO 49092, MSRP 27,000. Outlander NZO 53093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2022. Dealer stock only.
Southland Casino is turning spinners into winners. It's the return of Battle Wheels, and this time around, we're giving away up to $375,000 in free play. Earn entries every day. Then each Saturday night in January, 30 finalists take their turn at the prize wheel. Everyone who spins wins. Take the short spin to Southland for your chance to win part of up to $375,000 in free play. See Lucky North Club for details. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help, call 800-522-4700.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
If you are ready for some car and truck shopping, I've got the perfect place this weekend. It's All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. That's where you want to be. That's where you need to be. They are ready to sell any vehicle today, all the Tahoes, all the Suburbans, all the Blazers, Silverados, all right there in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, just off Kraft Goodman Road, off Highway 78. First exit into Mississippi. Just ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any of the great team there. They'll show you all the choices and more in the pipeline. These will go fast, so try to get down there tomorrow or sometime next week. All-Star Chevy, they have been friends, and they have been spot on getting all the best 21s and 22s you can imagine, and all the colors that you prefer. 0% financing is available, and your good credit, it deserves that. Go to allstarautogroup.com. Look at all the pre-owned and certified pre-owned Chevys, Silverados, Tahoes, Suburbans, and go big. Check out the Corvette Stingray at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. If you want to sell any car or truck and get a check today, remember, it's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Mount Moriah, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now, we do have our top 8 quarterbacks. We have 8 teams left playing for the divisional round this weekend, 4 games. We are ranking all of them. Real quick, we do have Raider Corey's list. Raider Corey put in a list. Definitely want to read that. 1 Rodgers, 2 Brady, 3 Mahomes, 4 Burrow, 5 Allen, 6 Stafford, 7 Tannehill, and 8 Jimmy G. Let's go ahead with Bryant first. Bryant, what you got?
You know, I love,
and I'm glad Dak's out of it, so you don't have to rank him too low this week.
Yeah, and I love being the leadoff hitter. I'll start at number 1. I'm going A-Rod, then Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Stafford, Tannehill. That's my list.
You gotta respect the Burrow over Mahomes. My gosh.
Love Joe Burrow.
There you go, Bryant.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of that. And I think this is it's a pretty good crop of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good crop of quarterbacks.
This is vintage, and it's the time of the year for you to get down to the good stuff. I start with Tom Brady, and I think he should be MVP this year. And I've said this the last 2 times he's won Super Bowls, the one last year with the Buccaneers and the one in Atlanta versus the Rams with the Patriots. If he wins one this year on Super Bowl Sunday, on Monday, the Hall of Fame should announce he's going in the Hall of Fame class this August. Mm-hmm. Living players going in while he's still playing. He's that good. 1 Brady, 2 Aaron Rodgers, 3 Mahomes, 4 Joey Burrow, 5 Matt Stafford, 6 Josh Allen, 7 Ryan Tannehill, 8 Jim G.
Jim G. I'm going to start at 1. I go Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be the MVP this year. I don't disagree with you. I think Tom Brady certainly deserves some love there. But Aaron Rodgers, game planning for him is just, and I know you could say some similar things about Tom Brady, but it's impossible to game plan for Aaron Rodgers with him being able to escape the pocket. You pressure him, but you can't pressure him all that much because of his escapability. The way he places balls downfield, he can throw off his back foot, throw from anywhere. I have to put Aaron Rodgers 1 for the time being. 2 Tom Brady, though. 3 Patrick Mahomes, 4 Josh Allen, 5 Matt Stafford, 6 Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow wins this weekend, though. He'll jump Matt Stafford and possibly Josh Allen, in my opinion. 7, give me Jimmy G. 8, I go Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, though, he's had a weird career arc, in my opinion.
From wide receiver at A&M to starting quarterback with the Titans.
And relatively steady with the Dolphins, even though he had Adam Gase as a head coach.
And most of that's what they're asking him. They're asking him to get in the right lane, drive 60, turn the left blinker on just to fool everybody.
That's why I put him last. And Jimmy G, you could say some of the same things, too. They're game-managing type guys. Ryan Tannehill, though,
you can put more of a game on G than you can T.
Very, very reliant on Derrick Henry and that rush game and the play action off of that and the 2 wide receivers he has. I mean, that's one of the best duos in the NFL, and I'm not sure. I know they haven't been on the field at the same time all that much, but can't beat Julio Jones and A.J. Brown on the field and part of your team out wide. Now, that'll do it for hour number 2. When we come back for hour number 3, we start off hour number 3 with our good friend Jason Munns on the Tigers basketball beat for the commercial appeal. You will not want to miss that. We'll do that when we come back on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour of this day, final hour of this week. Jason Munns, the beat writer for The Commercial Appeal, will join us. He's the beat writer covering all things Memphis Tigers basketball. He was in the room last night. He was at the game last night. He's been there for it all this year. We will get from him what he thought the tenor and the tone and in bounds or out of bounds of the room last night post-game and Coach Hardaway's comments that have made truly national news today. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Each win means that much more in the NFL playoffs. That's why FanDuel Sportsbook's hooking up new customers with 30-1 enhanced odds for the divisional playoffs. This weekend's game's terrific. We were just talking about those great quarterbacks. I love these games, and I'm glad I got my FanDuel app locked and ready and loaded this weekend. Bet 5 to win $150 on any team to win any divisional playoff game this weekend. Sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook and make a deposit to claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. It's simple and easy to use with generous promotions every day, safe, secure, and a partner with the NFL. And when you win, you get your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Already have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? Well, good. FanDuel's hooking up all customers with $50 when you refer a friend, plus your friend gets $50 as well. Don't miss your chance to win $150 off a $5 bet when you use promo code CASH when signing up. That's promo code CASH. Pick your winner on the divisional playoffs this weekend before kickoff. And it's that easy at FanDuel. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. title sponsor this hour for us every day through a lot of years now, and we appreciate it. The great people at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online and check out the referrals and look at the beautiful cars at DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, checked out thoroughly, examined from bumper to bumper. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. Down-home environment, no high-pressure sales at DeSoto Auto Sales. You're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Walk in, get credit, find the car you want, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. That's the ultimate car experience they promise, and they deliver on it because they know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why they keep it simple and efficient at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Indeed, he was in that room last night. And Jason Munns joins us now. Jason, the game seems like a blur. That start was so bad, but everything was, the sun was blotted out by the post-game comments of Coach Penny Hardaway. You were in that room. Tell us the tenor, tell us the tone, tell us the inbounds, out of bounds, fairness, all that for us. Thank you for joining us, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, guys. Always happy to be with y'all. But yeah, last night was something. It was fun. It
Right.
It was like a lot of things. It was a lot of emotions and feelings and reactions and kind of all at once. I've been telling people, I mean, because the text messages have been flying ever since last night from some people that I haven't talked to in quite a while. That's kind of when you know that something has truly rang some alarms up the flagpole, I guess. And as I was saying, I've been telling people that it's kind of like an out of body experience. Like you know that you could feel that something was gonna be said. But not until that first F-bomb was it like, this is Ghost Pepper. This is Ghost Pepper Penny.
That always kicks off the festivities, the first F-bomb.
Well, and then I thought, okay, this is crazy. And then he did it again and again. And, even threw in a BS.
Well, you can't just leave it at one curse. I mean, you gotta if you're gonna go that
gotta
direction,
hit the over.
you gotta go. Yeah.
I mean, I guess and in a way, I do not take any sort of pleasure whatsoever in Penny's being in him being upset. Of course, no pleasure whatsoever in that. But as a journalist, you for years and years and years, as a sports fan, you see all these, viral type press conference moments. And as a journalist, you wonder if you're ever going to be in a room when things start going, when things start hitting the proverbial fan. And it became very apparent very quickly that, that this was going to go super viral. Right. And it was like an out of body experience. It was just like, the only thing I could think of in the moment was I've got to make sure that I at least get maybe not the whole quote, the whole soundbite transcribed perfectly, but at least part of it, and with like no typos and no inaccuracies. I wanted to make sure that it was exactly what he said, which is not easy in the moment. He's talking. He's not really waiting on me to transcribe, and so that was my first thought. And then my second thought was, well, my post game story's done. I don't have to think too hard about what my post game story is going to be.
Jason, I do have to give you a shout out though. You were the question immediately following the big rant.
Yeah,
and
you
that's
got handed the baton.
I mean, I would have just said, you know
Ticking
what? Never
time
mind.
bomb baton.
I have nothing else. You got it. But
I'm glad you brought that up. That was my third thought. That was because it was like he was getting toward the end of his tirade, and before Jeff Calkins asked the question, I guess Jeff and I had raised our hand at the same time because they pass around a microphone, and the sports information director is in there, and he's kind of like directing traffic. He's like saying you're next, and he goes we'll go to Jeff, and then we'll go to Jason. And as Penny was winding down, it dawned on me I have to come up with something to how in the world, like, do I kind of lean into this? Do I keep poking the bear? Do I ask him to elaborate? like how do I, or do I try to diffuse it and like return us to some sense of
order in the court,
our planetary existence? Let's get out of orbit here and get back down to Earth. But I went with that. I went with the latter and said, yeah, let's talk about Tulsa. We know how you feel. What's the team's mood now as Tulsa's just a couple of days away? And so, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Now, there's no way. I mean, it is just impossible to excuse anything that Penny Hardaway said.
For sure.
But I ask you this. I want your honest opinion on this. What did you think about the line of questioning? When the question was asked, did you expect the response that came after?
So a little backstory. Before Penny came in the room, and Jeff explained all this perfectly on his radio show this morning, he told me afterwards that he would not have asked his question at all had I not brought up a conversation with him before Penny came in the room. I turned to him and I said, Jeff, what do you think, what kind of Penny do you think we're going to get tonight? Do you think we're going to get super quiet Penny, or are we going to get middle of the road Penny, or are we going to get spicy Penny? And he goes, yeah, I think we'll get middle of the road. I think, he'll be disappointed. He'll be upset. He'll talk about the injuries and ultimately just say, we have to get better. And I said, well, I don't know, because I'm running some things through my noodle that, there's been some increasing noise around the program, back-to-back losses to UCF and ECU, and, the social media and various other, pockets of the fan base are starting to get a little bit restless. And I think if I ask him about the increasing restlessness of the natives, what do you say to that? I'm at least going to give him an opportunity to address it. And the way Jeff explained it was he just happened to get the microphone first, and he thought that he would ask a version of that question in a more kinder, gentler fashion.
Gentler. Okay.
I know. And I'm not sure he achieved that by asking him, the way he phrased it to begin with. The way he phrased it to begin with, he said, do you still have faith that you can get the job done? And you could tell that's a trigger, for really anybody.
Bring any up. If you pushed into a corner, Jason, you come out swinging.
What I'd say about it, having been through interviews and everything, anything that's a closed-ended yes or no question,
passive aggressive,
that is going to frustrate a guy in that situation. And then the is it embarrassing certainly added on to the anger.
I mean, it's right up there. The proverbial, how long have you? When did you quit beating your wife?
I don't think that the sentiment is unfair. I think that he needs to answer for it and be held. He needs to.
Sure, he does.
Be held accountable for the direction that things are going. I mean, we're not just talking about losses here. We're also talking about the day before the news coming out that Rasheed Wallace is going to be an absentee coach.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to keep him on staff, but he's going to be just doing Zooms and consultant work and things like that. Like, there's just been so many strange things packed into these first few months of the season that I don't think that the question was and then on top of it, the losses and the just wild spate of rash of injuries. I mean, I don't think that the question was unfair. I think it could have been probably worded a little bit differently. Not saying that the way I would have worded it would have been any better, but I don't think it was unfair. On the flip side, I have no issue with the way Penny reacted. I mean, I'm all for unfiltered, honest, from the hip. Coach speak is our enemy, right? So, just as long as you're honest, I'm totally good. I don't think that I would have gone.
I like candor, but
yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm not sure I would have gone with quite as much colorful language. But look, I mean, he's frustrated, and I think we had this conversation about the injuries last week, maybe. I'm not in the camp of people who say, well, the injuries have literally no bearing on anything. Like, everybody deals with injuries, sure, but we're talking about multiple starters for 7 or 8 games in a row now. This is not the type of injury situation that everybody deals with. Like, this is another level. And, so like, I see his point, and he's talking about, and not only is he dealing with injuries, he's absolutely right. The guys that are left are young and inexperienced, and 2 of them should be seniors in high school. You never plan to have to, as talented as they are, you never plan for those to be the 2 guys that you are, really depending on the most.
Jason,
or as much as they are.
I'm surprised that Coach Hardaway, that he is surprised by, I was going to say passion, but now I think it has morphed into vitriol, animus from a lot of people, from Tiger fans, from people walking out last night, from people not going. It was cold and raw last night. I understand that. I'm not killing people that didn't want to get out last night and that. But why, of all people, for him to be shocked at this passion? He's known the words to the fight song for 30 years. Yeah. He's been here his whole life. He was a little guy when Andre Turner was knocked around as Andre Turnover. He saw Larry Finch treated like he got treated. His coach, the biggest name in sports history in the city of Memphis. He knows that program has only won 2 NCAA tournament games in 13 years. Wins over St. Mary's and George Washington. He saw the end of Josh. He was there and saw it all unfold for Tubby Smith. Why is he acting like, poor pitiful me?
Fantastic question. I mean, yeah, you're Penny Hardaway, but you're also the Memphis basketball coach and the Memphis Tigers basketball coach, and I don't think anybody is immune from, immune to being held to the same standards as everyone else. And you laid it out beautifully just now that this is kind of how it goes when things are going the way they're going. And going back to just to make my last point on the way he answered last night again, or the way he treated the post game press conference. I don't fault him for the content. Save a few words. The point. I don't fault him for the points that he was making. Where I do find some serious fault in what he did is he's blaming the wrong. Right. He's blaming the wrong people. Mm-hmm. I mean, like to blame the media. He didn't blame the fans and whatever. But like, if you're blaming the media or the fans or the players or your assistants, the buck stops with you. I mean, every single day and twice on Sunday, the buck stops with you. And so that's the part that really kind of troubled me more than anything else is just the pointing the finger at, at a problem that is not the problem.
Right.
At something that's not the problem. That to me would be the most troubling thing of all.
Curiously, though, through the Penny Hardaway era, and just fully opinionated here, what have you thought about the rhetoric around his teams and his performance? Fair? Anything out of bounds? I'm sure there's been a few things out of bounds here and there when you look at social media and everything else. But the media members, the people talking every day, have you felt any level of unfairness in the Penny Hardaway era?
No. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in this camp.
It's been the age of Aquarius,
right. It's been,
Jason. It has been.
Would you would you go to say overly fair?
I do think that there have been, it's not across the board that he's been treated, that he's been treated with kid gloves or whatever cliche you want to use. Mm-hmm. I won't say that it's been across the board there. I mean, look, the James Wiseman situation, he took some heat. From local media. He took some heat for, the way the Tennessee game and the vaccination and all that stuff, the COVID stuff. Like, he took some heat for that. The on-the-court stuff with the struggles with the offense the last couple of years and, having –
the LION offense, not LYING, the LION offense.
Yeah, so I do think that it hasn't been, like I said, it hasn't been a broad stroke path for everything that he's done or everything that's happened under his watch. But by and large, I would say that he has been. He's not. I would say that if anybody else had, produced what he has presided over the last 3+ seasons, outside of ticket sales, like I'm not even talking about that. But if anybody else recruited 2 of the last 3 number 1 classes in the country, mm-hmm. and still didn't have an NCAA tournament appearance to show for it, and doesn't look like they're going to have another one again. This season without winning the conference tournament. If anybody else, mishandled the vaccination story the way he did, if anybody else, saw things go south with the number, the way they did with some of the players that left and some of the assistants that left, and all these sorts of things. I think anybody else takes a lot more heat than he ever has.
Mm-hmm. Jason, last night, did anyone try to intercede? Did Dwight Boyd, an assistant coach, was layered in sight? Did anybody point at the sound man and kill the sound? Did anybody pull what they did on Laramie Tunsil in Chicago at the draft when they practically tried to pull the electricity and turn it off and get him out of there? Did anybody step in? And why hasn't Laird or the university president spoken today?
No, the answer is no. Nobody tried to step in. I think we got maybe 3-4 more questions in. The SID. Was in there, Michael Schroeder, Deputy Athletic Director Jeff Crane, who is not the basketball administrator he used to be. He's the football sport administrator, but he was in the room last night. Those were the only ones I saw in the room. I didn't notice whether or not Dwight Boyd was in there, or I'm certain Laird wasn't in there. But no, they let it go, and I think that they probably. And in a lot of circumstances, yes, like you alluded to, once he got off his soapbox, that's in a lot of cases, that's probably the end of the press conference. Somebody's going to step up and say, okay, no more questions. We'll bring in Alex Lomax here in a second. But like, I thought that, for my purposes, I was happy that they didn't. I was glad that they let him stay up there. And I think his, he said it, that was out of character for him. And I think he's kind of earned that, I guess, trust or leeway to rein himself back in. They gave him a chance to sort of calm down and rein himself back in. And he did. And I thought that was all handled. I mean, as it turned out, it was all handled very well, but, I forget what the second part of your question was. I apologize.
Any statement from them today and any apology from Penny today? I'm shocked at neither.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any sort of apology. And I think if there's been, in the grand scheme of things, it was a few curse words, in the heat of the moment type of situation. Who am I to say that Laird or President Rudd needs to come out and make a statement? I mean, maybe they will at some point, but I certainly get what you're saying, that it would have been nice to hear something from the university. I checked with the league first thing this morning to find out if he ran afoul of any code of sportsmanship or anything like that. And the way it was explained to me is, it's still relatively brand new. It happened late last night. So, and this was earlier this morning, that it was still so relatively brand new that there hadn't really been any discussions at the league level. But the way it was explained to me was that the league didn't necessarily feel like this rose to the level of needing to take any action, and not that they would even make it public, even if they did. But it didn't sound like the league was going to get involved here at all. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm anxious to get up to Tulsa to huddle up with some people and see if they'll talk.
Right. He is Jason Munz at Munsley on Twitter, Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Jason, always appreciate it, man. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Be safe, Jason. Thank you so much. And great coverage.
And you can always find all of his work at thecommercialappeal.com. When we come back, I want to get to a couple of your texts on Penny Hardaway and the Tigers. Then we have some NFL divisional round games to pick. Bengals, Titans, 49ers, Packers, Rams, Bucks, and Bills versus the Chiefs. We'll do that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. It's year-end at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Hundreds of new and used Chevy cars and trucks to choose from with huge savings on select models. Immediate financing available with interest rates low as 0%. A $7 million used car inventory specializing in late-model GM-certified cars and trucks, and lots of vehicles under $10,000. Financing for everyone, regardless of past credit. Save some money and end the year in style. Huge year-end savings going on now at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. The best things in life may not be free, but at least they're affordable at sunrisememphis.com. Find new roads.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck-head dress shirts, duck-head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
I'm with Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Shipping Kitchen. Pat, how are things downtown at the Shipping Kitchen?
Thanks, Brett. Wow, what a year it's been. 2020 threw a lot of changes at us. One of them was our great Memphis customers figured out how to ship our ribs all over the country.
Pat, we know you ship your ribs and shoulder all over the country. What are some of the other popular packages?
One of our most popular packages that's come out in the last year or two has been the barbecue nacho box. Well, our nacho box is an all Memphis box. It includes our pork shoulder. It includes our friends at Poncho's cheese dip. Also includes Brim's chips, Felicia Suzanne's peppers, a bottle of our barbecue sauce, a bottle of our famous seasoning, some reheating tips, wet naps, cook hats, and you can even throw in a box of Dinstall's Cashew Crunch for the sweet tooth.
And Pat, this ships overnight just like the rest.
Brett, it sure does.
Where do we order this great food?
You can get these boxes by visiting our website. Go to www.hogsfly.com.
In the Alley in Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis since 1948.
Knotfest Roadshow is back. March 22nd, FedEx Forum. Featuring Slipknot. Plus special guests In This Moment and Ginger. On sale now. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com. Visit NotFestRoadshow.com for more. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Really appreciate all of the texts that have been flying in on the AutoZone listener line all day on Petty Hardaway and the Tigers, 901-360-8255. Have some right here. Courtney says, Penny not being at the U of M will kill their bottom line if he does indeed get fired. That's why he's
sure
brought
will
in.
hurt it.
That's why he was brought in. It's to put butts in the seats. He accomplished that. There's no question about it. Somebody else. Is it possible that Coach is suffering from too much talent? Yes, I think there is a level of that. But
might just need some grinders, some old man basketball types, some 22 or 23-year-old types, more DeAndres.
But good coaching, good leadership helps mesh talent. That's what I do know. So I think in the end of the day, you want the talent. You're not going to deny the talent. I think there's such thing as having too many cooks in the kitchen. I do believe that.
That's helped sell that sizzle, too. That's helped that bottom line, all these 5 stars.
But I also think you're not going to deny the talent. You're not going to say, hey, we already have this guy. We can't take another 5-star. No, you're going to take that guy in. You have to make sure they work well together, and that's what Penny has had issues with. Somebody says, Penny has the ball handlers. They go at light speed and just throw crazy passes and take bad shots. Slow that offense down. Feed the man down low every chance you get. I think Jalen Duren deserves touches. I do believe that.
And they were doing that in the second half.
And he says, I truly hate it that Duren will not make a college NCAA tournament. It doesn't look like he will at this point. If they win the conference tournament, it it changes things. But they have given us no reason to believe that. Somebody asks us, and we talked about SMU not playing overly well last night, and we said they were bad. So he says, SMU, a bad team? AAC must be really bad since they are second in the conference. But Memphis, the frustrating thing about last night was they did come back from the deficit at the 13-minute mark of the second half. Were within 2 and had a bad run. They promptly turn it over, and SMU goes on an 8-0 run, and it looked like Tigers went into panic mode.
It is a really bad league.
SMU is one of the better teams in the league. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kendrick Davis.
Oh, he's great.
He's older,
Mm-hmm.
good scorer. He's got the experience. But SMU last night gave me no reason to be impressed with them.
No.
And Brett, we texted back and forth. When we talk about the teams the Tigers have played, I have been impressed by one team, that's Iowa State. Nobody else on that schedule has even including Alabama, including the win against Alabama, no one impressed me.
I have no confidence in Nate Oates. I mean, that performance in Memphis was bad, how they exited last year. Look, it's not Brett's metrics. It's not Gabe's. It's not Sports 56. It's not some wascally member of the media. Here's the net rankings for the AAC. Number 1 team is 3 in Houston. 2 is 57 in SMU. 3 is 60 in Cincinnati. 4 is Memphis.
Yep.
Memphis
73.
is 4th at 73. UCF at 74, and Memphis lost to them. And then it goes 85, 124, 130, 152, 171, 209.
And none of
sounds like area codes.
And none of those teams are tournament teams. After that, I mean, not even a possible chance of those teams being really.
Memphis today is
involved
lodged
in
in between. They're 73. At 72 is Towson. At 74 is UCF, and you lost to them.
And also, Brian, I'll let you get your thing here in a second. SMU shot 6 for 23 from the field, turned the ball over 13 times, didn't share the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything last night that led me to
They're
believe
awful.
SMU's a tournament. They're not good. And yes, they're second in the AAC, and they have a very good chance of probably staying
Somebody
in that
has to
spot,
be.
but they're just not good. Honestly.
Yeah, and all I was going to add, I mean, you look at them, and I'm not going to sit here and say they're terrible, but they did not play well last night. I mean, this is a team that leads the conference in three-point percentage, and like you just said, they shot 26% from three. They only shot 42.6 from the field. I think they shoot around 46% from the field. I mean, offensively, they are one of the better teams in the conference because, I mean, Kendrick Davis will probably win Player of the Year in the American Conference. He's really good. But last night, they did not look like that team, and the fact that Memphis struggled with that, SMU on an off night, is very worrisome.
Exactly. And that's the point we're getting at. And whatever happened to protecting FedEx Forum? Whatever happened to winning home games? Away basketball is supposed to be the hard thing to do in college basketball. Home basketball, you're supposed to protect home court. You're supposed to win. And not to mention, with their backs against the wall, you're supposed to win every single home game the rest of the year with your backs against the wall.
And if you don't think Vegas knew who was available as far as players and they still had them as a 5.5-point favorite, Vegas knows what your temperature is.
SMU shot 6 for 23, had a terrible night on the road against Memphis, played really badly. Tigers just out-batted. It just were substantially worse. They were
just
1
a
for 12
little
from the
worse.
field. It's just it's just bad all around. Somebody says Taylor Jenkins needs to school Penny Hardaway on what an elite coach is. I'm gonna next text. I totally agree with Drew. Tubby Smith was a consummate professional, and I totally supported him. Look, Tubby Smith was not very nice to anybody in the media. Was not very nice. Was not very liked, and there was nobody in the stands.
Nobody.
You had to get him out. It's the truth of it, and. Yeah, I think a lot of Memphis fans, true Memphis fans, a lot of people wanted to support him at the start. They saw the direction it was headed, and
just had so little fire for the job.
It was just wasn't fun. It just wasn't. The same. There wasn't any vigor around the
We
program.
caught him on the way to retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I do think if he had stayed, Memphis would have had a tournament appearance.
And yeah. I mean, I don't know. Ifs. I don't know about ifs.
Yeah, I hate ifs, but I had to put that out there.
Last text here before we get to our picks. Someone says a coach's job is to win games, and when you don't, then you have to bear the brunt of criticism for that. That's what you signed on for as a Division I head coach. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
he's
been great for the university, but he's not doing this for free.
Mm-mm.
He has worked hard, but he is very well compensated for it.
And I
don't expect him to do it for free either.
I also at this point find the sentiment of, well, he could be doing a lot of things. I find that to be a little dead at this point.
Too.
He's not.
'Cause nobody's making him.
Yeah, he's not doing different things. He's here. So you want to see all of the hype translate on the court, and it just hasn't. Now, into the NFL. Let's start with Saturday's game, 3:30. Well, first, let me get into some of the injuries that may sort of affect how we view these games. Titans-Bengals, Derrick Henry has been officially activated. He's expected to start. Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals, their edge rusher, is cleared from concussion protocol. 49ers-Packers, Jimmy G and Nick Bosa both at practice in full today. They're expected to go in Lambeau against the Packers. Chiefs-Bills, Willie Gay. We had all the conversation yesterday, their linebacker, about his issues, domestic dispute where he broke a vacuum. Andy Reid has said he will play, and that was his decision that Willie Gay will play. Rams, Bucks, Andrew Whitworth, and Taylor Rapp are out. And for that game, it looks like the Bucs are going to have 3 game time decisions to pretty important guys. Leonard Fournette, starting running back. Ryan Jensen, really good starting center. And they're all pro right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, all game time decisions. Let's start Saturday, 3:30, CBS. Bengals at Titans. Titans are 3.5-point favorites in this one in Nashville.
Give me the Titans. Gabe?
I'm going to go with the Bengals plus 3.5. Give me the Bengals.
Okay.
I wanted to go with the Bengals, but I think Jay Morgan said that the Titans are something like 8-0 with an 8-day rest, or Mike Vrabel is. So I'll go with the Titans.
I like Joe Burrow. I think they sort of broke the curse last week, and at the very least, I think this game will be close. I think the Bengals have an underrated defense, and
real cash money. Does anything really grab you out of these 4 games? I mean, if you just needed
betting real money,
you needed that win bad, you see anything that grabs you? Nothing for me.
Nothing in particular.
Mm-hmm. It's all going to be right in the
decent
trading
leans.
range.
I have decent leans on some of these. I have decent leans. Now, Saturday,
right.
7:15.
Saturday,
Fox.
next game.
49ers.
Green Bay, 5.5. Any decent lean there, Gabe?
My decent lean, high of 19, low of 7 in Lambeau. Jimmy G, throwing finger messed up.
I love those people.
Throwing shoulder messed up. He's never started a game in the NFL in temperatures under 40 degrees. 49er secondary doesn't scare Aaron Rodgers. Give me the Pack. Minus a 5.5. Love it.
Bryant.
Go, Pack, go.
Group lock that we were 3-1 last weekend, and NFL group locks are only loss, Brian.
Don't say
Cowboys.
it. Don't.
Your Cowboys.
That shouldn't have been a group lock. We should have been smarter than that.
Sunday, we have to wait till 2 o'clock on NBC. Tampa Bay, TB12, NTB, 2.5-point favorites over the Rams all time in the playoffs. The Rams are 2-0 versus Tampa Bay. Give me the Rams straight up, like Alan Bell said.
Right?
I'll go with the Bucs.
Okay, I'm going Rams straight up, plus 2.5. I don't even need the 2.5. Bucs injuries concern me. I saw Tristan Wirfs step onto his right ankle last week. He was ginger with it. He was not comfortable on that ankle.
Tried to play.
And you have an edge rusher in Von Miller, an edge rusher in Leonard Floyd. You have a guy coming up the middle in Aaron Donald. I just don't like this matchup. And not to mention, week 3, the Rams won 34-24, and we know the key to beating Tom Brady, getting him off his spot, is pressing the pocket, getting up the middle. I think this is a really good matchup with the Rams. They move on to the NFC Championship.
5:30 in Kansas City. Kansas City, a 1.5-point favorite over Buffalo. I don't love it at all. Give me Kansas City.
Ooh. Right.
I'll take the Bills.
All right. I'm with you, Brett. I don't love it. I'm going to take the Chiefs minus the 2.5. I think it'll be a really close game. That's why the line is that as close as it is. Arrowhead's tough to play at, and I like Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo, when it comes to his defenses in the playoffs, they seem to turn it up and do some good things.
A lot of different spots, too. Did it with the Giants. This weekend's going to be fun. Hallelujah. It's the weekend. Celebrate it. 2 great places to celebrate it. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. At the original in Germantown, just for old time's sake. Get the nachos there. That's where they were invented back in the early 80s. Walker Taylor, he gave us that culinary delight way back then, and we've enjoyed it through the years. A lot of people have taken credit for it, but it started at the commissary. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, shoulder, ribs, all the fixings so good, beans, slaw, deviled eggs. Don't forget about the party packs, a 6-pack, a 8-pack, a 12-pack. Start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or those nachos. That could be your entree, but you need plenty of food for all the sports this weekend. Grizzlies night, Grizzlies Sunday, Tigers on Sunday, and all the NFL action for the entire weekend if you're getting ready to go out right now. 2 great locations, Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. I know it's hard, but save room for dessert, lemon icebox pie, terrific banana pudding. Call 901-754-5540 or go online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. The party areas, they await us when the warm weather gets here. We'll think about the people in Lambeau by not going out on the party areas this weekend. You've got two great locations, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
Real quick on the NFL, we have a Giants GM hire. Joe Schoen hired as the Giants GM, assistant GM for the Bills since 2017. He was part of the talent acquisition sort of office with the GM's office. And this is interesting. Started as a ticket intern in Carolina in 2000. That's where he got it started.
That's how you do it.
And he
That's how it's done.
Built himself all the way up. And Brett, before we get to our final break, doesn't have much to live up to with the guy that he's successing.
No.
I mean,
really,
God.
the two that precede him, Jerry Reese or Gettleman.
Yep, very, very true. When we come back, we're already to the end of the week. We wrap up the week with Taco Bell Crunch Time on the other side on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
I was getting my coffee today, Jose, and I heard there's a new way to get our jobs done at a price we want to pay for them. Grow profits and find new workers.
Sure, boss.
I downloaded the ZipCat construction app, Jose. Used the work icon, created the job description, and priced it.
Yes, boss.
Another contractor will buy it, and we got 3 days to accept and mutually approve the job, Jose.
Sure thing.
New concept. No more estimates. We control our price with ZipCat. Contractors, plumbers, electricians, etc. Find jobs listed with ZipCat. That's ZIPCAT. Download the ZipCat app now for free on the App Store and Google Play. ZipCat app, the best tool in your toolbox.
Some things should just be left to the experts. Sure, you might be able to scramble an egg or make a piece of toast, but do you really think you can throw together a better breakfast than Sunrise on Jefferson? The cooks at Sunrise are the breakfast experts, making perfect breakfast after perfect breakfast, with the freshest ingredients, cooked with care and cooked with speed. There's simply no better breakfast in Memphis. Go ahead, make some instant grits if you want to, but if you want real breakfast, you want Sunrise.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Looking for a good deal on ammo? Check out Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville. Right now, 223, 9mm, and 12-gauge buckshot are all on sale. 400 rounds of 223 in sealed Spam cans for $199. 50-round boxes of 9mm Full Metal Jacket for $19.99 a box. 12-gauge buckshot, 15 rounds per box, 8 boxes per case, on sale for $125 per case. Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville. On Instagram at TGG_Tennessee and Facebook at Tactical Guns and Gear. Don't forget to tell them Eli sent you.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
What I learned today, I wish I would have been able to sort of drop this during the show and discuss, but we have some local college football notes that are worth mentioning. We just had so much with Penny Hardaway and the Tigers today, and we had a lot of guests too, so I was not able to get to him. But Memphis quarterback Peter Parrish, and this is not really a surprise. We expected it. Hadn't heard much about him until now, but he is in the transfer portal. Started one game, of course, against UCF. It was not all that great, but Peter Parrish, transfer from LSU, now back into the transfer portal. Ole Miss cornerback coach Terrell Buckley has been let go by Lane Kiffin and staff after 2 seasons, so they're in a need for a DB coach. We'll see what happens there. And Arkansas offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, who was certainly rumored for the Miami job, going there with Mario Cristobal. He stays at Arkansas, and in my opinion, that is a massive, massive thing for Arkansas football.
That shows KJ Jefferson.
And that also shows Kendall Briles believes in what they continue to build there.
Yeah, he does. Gabe, what I learned today, and it seems to make some mad, but it's the 3 most damaging words uttered in the Penny Hardaway era, and it's why today the behavior ran coast to coast. If he could take back all the smoke.
I mean, held against him, and I think for good reason. For good reason.
Because it's been nothing.
It's been nothing. No fire, no smoke, barely any smoldering. It's just nothing. So I agree, and that's what I could have done without. It's just the back and forth last night between Calkins and Penny. I thought that was terrible. Penny's response, I thought, was off the mark, to say the very, very least. It was inappropriate. And
he was provoked.
And I thought it was provoked. I really do. And I thought it was unfair. I thought it was passive aggressive. And I think we need to hold media accountable and show some accountability for those in the media that ask really stupid questions. And I think that absolutely qualified in totality as a stupid question. A yes or no, which is the cardinal sin and oppressor, but a yes or no with a predetermined answer that Penny is sort of backed into. I don't like it.
Wanted.
I think, and yes, he got it. That's what Penny needs to understand. He wanted a quote, and you gave it to him.
And a lot of times Dwight Boyd does hang in the media area after the game. Dwight Boyd's as close to Coach Hardaway as anyone, and really fine person. And that's why I asked Jason Munns earlier if he was there, because I think he'd have been shutting down the whole deal if he'd have been there. I could have done without the story around the Titans ticket policy. Yes, it you can do what you want to. You can set your ticket policy however you want. But I know it infuriates people. We know what it feels like when LeBron fans take over in Memphis, or if we had a playoff game. I'm trying to think of the nearest market. New Orleans, if they took over at a playoff game. There's one way to ensure that doesn't happen. Buy the tickets, use the tickets.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I'd have to say that. Also, Ravens end up firing Wink Martindale They're DC. Pretty surprising for them. I don't know if their
He'll
defense
get hired fast.
was necessarily the problem. Also, I didn't get to mention today, Indiana. That upset of Purdue last night was pretty interesting. Mike Woodson doing a really good job at Indiana so far.
And that hire was crushed by everyone,
Oh,
and
God,
it seems like it's working. Grizzlies Nuggets night, Grizzlies Dallas on Sunday, Tigers on Sunday. The pressure's on Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. NFL all day, all night on Saturday and Sunday. And we will have it on 560 AM and 98.5 FM. So tune into these airways if you want to catch any of that action. Also, over the weekend, college basketball, Michigan State versus Wisconsin, top 15 matchup. LSU, Tennessee. We have a whole bunch of stuff.
Kentucky, Auburn.
Make sure you stay tuned for all of that stuff. That's all we have for today and the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Jason Munns, Drew Barrett, Bruce Marshall, and Alan Bell for their contributions to the show. For Brett, for Bryant, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night, weekend, and be safe. We'll holler at you on Monday.
I often say they've set the bar for the way